Mimi na tu nimefurahi, nashukuru Mungu.
Karibuni. Tunafungua show yetu phase 2. So welcome. This is courtesy of Bundi. So vijana wetu wamepigwa tena. Nilifikiria Norway wangeweza kupita hapo mbele, lakini sio hivyo. England wakutane na Argentina ama Uswizi, lakini hatuoni. Wacha nitafute Mbundi kidogo. Yule anataka kuingia kwa kipindi anaweza ingia. Tunataka kuendelea na hii maneno ya Olkarau na vile upinzani tunafaa kujipanga. Good. Karibuni. Okay, sawa. So this is our next show. So kama kuna mtu ambaye hakuweza, if you are not able to say anything in the previous show, you have an opportunity now to come and say. Mama Mary, where else na wengine? Njuria, Mwanampotevu, sijui kama ni Matumaini ulipoteza. Any person who wants to come now for the late show, you are welcome. So tunataka kuevaluate, ni kama sasa mnajua sasa we are now in the injury time. Hiki ni kipindi cha lala salama. Olkarau mambo mingi sana yatakuwa yanafanywa. Tumesikia sasa bado ile bilioni 10 serikali ilikuwa imetoa, wataendelea kufanya mambo. So there will be so much attempt of wanting to bribe those people. Lakini nimefurahia sana, nimekutana hata na picha za wazee hapa wakisema katakata kabisa hawapei Ruto hiyo. Nimeona watu wengi sana. Kuna mzee nimekutana na yeye who is very serious, na anasema Olkarau watajua wao ni akina nani. No, but that show of might, I don't think it was even show of might. It was just a show of might and a show of weakness. So Ruto government was show of weakness. So kuna mtu ameshare na mimi video hapa. So Bwana Peter Mbuthia, it was a very intense game, and England wamekula na experience. Norway waende wajipange wakuja tena. Wani watasema inakaa. But sasa unajua sasa hiyo ligi sasa imeingia dangerous position now. Hiyo ligi pale imeingia at a dangerous point. Lakini wamechoka Haaland leo. Wanafanya Haaland akae ordinary bana. Wamejaribu. Yeah, I'm unable to get that video. Nilikuwa naiona tu hapa tu nikiwa nafuatilia mpira. So now Albert amekuja. Na tafadhali, by the way, as you are entering the show, kama uja to subscribe, you have this opportunity to subscribe us as well, because it is important. It is important to give us a subscribe. So mnaweza endelea kutusubscribia katika hali ya kutujazia kikapu. Yeah, subscribing this channel is motivating yourself to. Yeah, we are one of the most trustworthy channel of which we can say that one we can unequivocally say mvua ya pesa na miradi pande ya Olkarau. Panic in Olkarau as voters stage protest. Let me begin with this. Yeah, I'm trying to set up. Yeah, mimi ni silent follower. Okay, sawa Albert. Silent follower, silent admirer, all of them.
Leaders from both the Kenya Kwanza coalition and the opposition have criticized former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua over his remarks that the Linda Mwananchi movement should not hold its political meetings in Olkarau constituency. Speaking at different events across the country, the leaders accused Gachagua of promoting divisive politics and urged him not to divide Kenyans along ethnic lines. And as Olkarau reports, the Linda Mwananchi movement has cancelled its Olkarau rally in favor of Nyahururu.
Former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua's remarks opposing a planned visit by leaders of the Linda Mwananchi movement to Olkarau constituency have drawn sharp reactions from leaders in both the Kenya Kwanza coalition and the opposition.
Hatutaki ile upuzi tunaona kule maondi kwingine ya kusema watu hawana shares, sijui watu wanafanya nini. Kwa hivyo nisi tunataka tuungane.
Wale wanasaliti wanasema watu wengine wakienda region yao wanaleta kierere. Ambia ng'oo.
Huyo mkabila ambaye tulifukuza sisi tunamjua kushinda wao. Jana amefukuza hiyo wakora ya Linda Uhuru, akina Sifuna na Osotsi, akawaambia wasijaribu kukanyaga Nyandarua.
Speaking in Homa Bay County, Murang'a Governor Irungu Kang'ata, who had been warned by Gachagua against holding the Linda Mwananchi meeting in Olkarau, said the movement has cancelled its planned Meet the People tour and will instead hold the event in Nyahururu town after a church service.
I believe in the motto that was said 100 years ago. One God, one aim, one destiny. We are one. And we should not allow politics to divide us. I know we are now fighting about 1 term, 2 term, but I can tell you, after 1 year, election next year, there will be no 2 term, 1 term.
Saboti MP Caleb Amisi, while campaigning for the People Renaissance Movement, Olkarau parliamentary candidate Timothy Kamau also criticized Gachagua's remarks, describing them as outdated and urging him to stop what he termed regional politics.
You do not need to cordon off Central. Don't cordon off regions. Allow people to do rallies anywhere in the country. Do not try to cordon off a region. Kenya is beyond regionalism, is beyond ethnic mobilization. Kenya is beyond ethnic balkanization of the country.
On Friday, Gachagua told Governor Kang'ata to stop what he described as unnecessary interference, arguing that neither Kang'ata nor the Linda Mwananchi leaders understand the political dynamics of Olkarau.
That is what I have told Senator of Murang'a to tell Irungu Kang'ata. Asilete kierere Olkarau. It's not necessary. Let him leave the people of Olkarau to do their own campaign.
Olkarau constituency continues to experience heightened political activity amid allegations of violence, voter bribery, and growing political tensions between Gachagua and President William Ruto's allies ahead of Thursday's parliamentary by-election. Olkarau.
Yeah. Now, that is usually the problem when you do something. That is when you do something, you know, this very serious speakers, some of the greatest men who used to give speeches. So speech tunasemanga inakuanga na high and lows, and it is like Obama in 2008. He has his acceptance speech, his highs and lows, and you forget everything which he has said, and you're only left with the one which he said, yes, we can. Yes, we can. So I think Gachagua has also to understand that he has also his highs and lows, and he should not make people to be left with coagulants or corrosive statements after a speech. So usually your speech, when people are getting, when people forget everything, because at the end of the day we forget. Hata ukiongea pale we forget everything. Usually hakuna kitu tunakumbukanga, but we now remember those highs and lows within your speech. That's why you have always to make sure that your highs and lows are the main messaging. But sasa ikifika sasa your high is that hatutaki kiherehere. Yeah, I don't know, but I feel again that thing could have been done in another way. So personally, I do not believe in open rebuke. Yeah, personally, I'm not a proponent of open rebuke. Mimi, I believe, especially if we are working together, karibu sana Acacia, if we are working together, I always believe in a silent way of correcting mistakes. But I do not appreciate bravado. Anyway, that is my concept. I feel it is much better. So for me, and when it comes to politics, it's much calculative. It is much calculative because it stops much collapse. Unajua siasa ni pillars. Kuna vitu unaweza fanya sasa ukute sasa you have something which we call lateral collapse. You know, we have a down collapse and lateral collapse. And in politics you can have down and lateral. Lateral nile unaanguka hivi vertically na unaanguka na pande. Yeah, so and you cannot want to have both vertical and lateral collapse in politics. And people will always use your statements to actually evaluate who you are. So your spoken language is one which tells us the type of a human being you are. So, and human beings are evaluated based on how they are speaking. So I now want Gachagua to learn there is another way to rebuke people. Don't rebuke people on camera. Even as much as he rebuked You can see now he highly rebuked Uhuru. Sahii anajaribu kumpembeleza wakisema ni machanda na pete. Even at that time of calamities, hiyo wakati ya Wakikuyu, hilo wakati, I still believe let me put it here. These rebukes are yeah, it's a recall. I want this one is during the campaign of 2022. Nataka tu kuwaekea because I like recapping. Sometimes that's why it's good to go slow.
Terming it political witch hunt.
Mimi wanajaribu kunihangaisha, walinishitaki, wakaniweka polisi, wakanifungia, leo wanataka kuninyang'anya pesa yangu. Mimi naambia Uhuru Kenyatta, pesa chukua. Mimi nikizaliwa nilikuja hii dunia bila chochote, nikiondoka nitaondoka bila chochote.
The Mathira MP now claims his friendship with Deputy President William Ruto is the source of his tribulations.
Hata ukininyang'anya pesa, hata ukinifunga, mimi na watu ya
Na nataka uangalie Ruto when Gachagua is speaking those things, Ruto is actually pointing downward. Yeah, when Gachagua is speaking, Ruto was actually pointing downward.
Kenya hatuwezi wachana na William Samoei Ruto. Tutang'ang'ana na wewe na watu yako mpaka huyu William Ruto aingie State House.
Document.
Yeah, that explicit talking is not very good. Yeah, again, he has done it again because sasa ile siku ataenda wasolve na Kang'ata, he will now start you know, sometimes you can retreat when you have done a lot of damage. That's why leaders naturally have to be mentioned. So mimi hapo ndio tu nakuanga tu nataswitch kidogo. A leader should be a little bit moderated and mentioned. Yeah, ni sawa Robert Oino bwana. Timu zangu zote bwana zina collapse. I will not support another team. I will not. I think ni kama sijui kama napea matimu kisirani ama ni nini. Na support timu bana. Hiyo inakuwa ndio mwisho wake. Astaki tena. Mimi hata nimeachana na wao. Ama ni support Argentina ianguke leo. Na support Argentina. Wacha ni support Argentina ili ianguke. Because I hate Argentina with a passion. Ama that's Yeah, so George, what I'm trying to say is that even if you are not agreeing with somebody, don't be so blunt in the face of raia. Unajua kuna kitu tunasemanga, kuna maneno huwezi meza. Hata unaona ni kama ile wakati mwanaume wanakosana na bibi. Let me say this, I met like let me give an example, for instance, like this mudslinging ya mtu kama Triza na the other Kiremba guy. So that's why sometimes even if your relationship with somebody is not good, always be measured with criticism. Be measured. Don't usiongee sana. Usiongee sana. Mnaweza rudiana na huyo mtu, mnaweza pendana na huyo mtu tena, and wasema huyu ndio ulikuwa unatuambia so anyway, I don't know, but Bwana George, I have specific reasons why I have never said that Donald Trump is 100% right. But there are usually some very specific things which personally they are very core to me, and they actually make me overlook is lousy mouth, as because there are some pertinent issues. There are some critical issues which, for me, I feel, those are things which I deserve to talk about. So I forego that. So I will not say that everything is okay. So you weigh. Tutaendelea kukua united opposition because majority of these leaders walitukuta kwa united opposition. But mimi, it's not about kutetea mzungu. It's not about kutetea mzungu. I'm talking about principles and values. I'm talking of principles and values. There are some specific things based on my own morphology. I feel this is what I think. So you look at values alignment. If there is like 60% value alignment, unasema ni sawa, I can reason with this person. I cannot reason with somebody who we are at 10% value alignment. It's not everything is very. Hata huyu Gachagua hata akiwa hivi yako, even with his lousy mouth, he has a little bit he has a little bit inclined to our way of thinking, and sometimes there are some things which I overlook because he has somehow aligned. But ile kitu najaribu kumwambia ni he should not be very scathing. He should not be very scathing. So hapo tu nitamwambia tu aangalie kidogo. Sawa, karibu Yosefu, umefika na uendelee kunidanganya kabisa. How is Norway? Unfortunately, Norway yetu imeshindwa. Joseph, our Norway is out. Somebody told me that Norway hakunanga giza. You will let me know that. Norway hakuna giza. So naona Njue Njagi anasema Njino, naona Malala amerundi nyumbani kwa UDA. You have to give me that video. But they can return anyway. They can return because many of these leaders are not usually true to themselves. Many of them are entrepreneurs. For so long, even there was a time when it was even said that Malala alijengewa nyumba na Ruto. So I would not be amused when somebody returns to Ruto. It's only that some of us, we are very core to opposition. So, and our dictate in opposition is not determined by by people wanting to gravitate back to Ruto. Some of us, we are in opposition for the longest and to finish it. Kama kuna watu watakuwa upinzani up to the last mile, ni watu kama sisi. Many of our politicians, we are not sure if watamaliza mwendo na sisi, but I can tell you some of us, we have made that corrective decision. Kama wengine wetu hatu kusupport Ruto 2022 when almost everybody was going there. And by the way, this is something which I'm telling people, Bwana Njue Njagi. Kama huku support Ruto 2022 na una support Ruto 2027, You have a jigger in your mind. And I will not miss my words to say that. Kama 2022 hukupigia Ruto kura na next year unataka kupigia Ruto kura, kichwa yako ni maji. You cannot be rescued. In fact, kama wewe ni mrembo na unaolewa na mwanaume kama huyo, ama unaoa bibi kama huyo, wacha tu. Wewe jua tu huyo mtu atakuletea tu hii akili ya kuleta maboto Olkarau. Let me tell you, you can see many of people who support Ruto their brains. Uniambia hata ukichukuana na mtu kama huyo, uniambia ama kuna pahali mnaenda. Mtu akupeleka boto Olkarau, alafu huyo ndio mtu unataka kuachilia maisha yako. Nyinyi akina Acacia na akina Ani mujichunge sana. Some of these people mnaachilia maisha yenu, mujichunge sana. Hiyo akili unaona wakitumia Olkarau, hiyo kweli, hiyo akili inaweza panga boma. Hiyo akili mnaona ikitumika Olkarau inaweza panga boma. Yeah, so Alenbo, ukipelekwa date na mtu, start knowing political orientation ya hao watu. Bure utapelekwa Njava, alafu uanzie kupromesiwa Kamanyarini. Mkuu hapo Njava, don't worry sweetie, I will do Kamanyarini for you, I will do it for you. Yeah. Their moral consciousness is beyond repair. So yeah, let's be keen on what is happening in the government, and we cannot be defeatist. We cannot be defeatist. Sawa Acacia, we cannot be defeatist. Tunaanzia ati tunaanzia kuogopa. I'm still saying there is a very big opportunity for us to defeat Ruto. But again, just as I explained in Mchana, the mentality which we will apply to Ruto is what will determine if we can be able to choke him. Up to now, actually, we have won the argument. You know, in any election, inakuanga na mambo mbili. Kuna argument na kuna vita. There is the argument and the war. So ile kitu tumebakisha kushinda ni vita. And na vita is more fierce. When it comes to narrative, when it comes to assembly, we have all won that. But for you to be able to convert it is so that you can be able to reach the next stage, you have now to understand how to do it. And by the way, people have won straight and defeated lunatics. So nothing stops us from defeating these lunatic people. We can defeat these lunatic people. So we should not be worried about ile tu kitu iko ni, we need now a movement by the people. Ni vile saa zingine raia sijui anaweza tengeneza komiti yao aje, and I wish the online meetings zile ambazo zilikuwa zinaendelea za Gen Z, they were and I don't know why they stopped. There were these guys who used to be, where did they go? I think now they need to start immediately when the Gen Z movement is very alive and big. They used to have X platforms. By the way, hizo X platforms za Gen Z bado zimebaki, or Ruto detonated all of them. I'm surprised. Sasa ndio tunafaa tukikuwa na those sijui kama mnakumbuka ile meeting ambayo ilikuwa na watu wengi sana ya X, those large meetings, where did they go? Hey, Gen Z bana, mnatufail. Those large meetings mlikuwa mnafanya kwa X. This is now the time when you need to have them actually to get rid of Ruto. Sasa ndio mnafaa kukuwa na hizo meetings za management. Hizo meetings mlikuwa nazo, like they used to have a lot of meetings in X. Na hizo meetings ni kama zimecapsize. You people, you have to return those meetings. You cannot just surrender You cannot surrender your future to people who are not doing anything. Sasa nasikia pia Kindiki akiwa pande yake anahapa tu, niseme nisiseme. Anyway, let me see what people are saying. Let me see what people say. A politician of true discernment must weigh the long-term consequences of their words and actions. What Gachagua said is divisive and will be perceived as selfish. We need each other to remove Ruto. Kuna njia ingine, on that one I agree. You can stop people. My English teacher, Mrs. Njoe, one of the wonderful English teacher, Mrs. Njoe, na walimu wa fasihi Mrs. Abudi pale Kangaru, Mrs. Njoe alikuanga anatuambia hivi, and I will state it because I really appreciate that lady alitufunza Kizungu. This is what Mrs. Njoe, ni wa somewhere in Ronyenje. Mrs. Njoe alikuanga anasema hivi, Njiru, can you describe for us? Sasa ni ile sasa munasoma row by row, munasoma Aminata, man of the people. Sasa munasoma sasa, mumesoma story ya Chief Nanga hapo na nini. So Mrs. Njoe anauliza swali. Mrs. Njoe anasema, Njiru, referencing the passage, can you give us one of the character of Chief Nanga? Aya unasema. So you give out the character. So like wanzie kusema Chief Nanga is bored. So unasema aya, Mrs. Njoe anakuambia that's okay, you have told us he is bored, but can you try to give us a more closer character about Chief Nanga which reflects the attitude by people to him? Yeah, so anakuguide zaidi. So ndio najaribu kusema. So and actually Mrs. Njoe told us that when you want to describe people, ndio nilikuwa nikitaka kusema hii point, you have to describe people based on the feelings. Na sasa hiyo ni passage nimesoma, ndio nasema tu ile wakati kusoma. So that's how she taught me to understand how to analyze a book. Look at the feelings of the people who have been referenced in that passage. So Mrs. Njoe anatuambia look at other characters, what they are saying about that persona, about her persona. Yeah. So that's how Mrs. Njoe was able to teach us literature and na tukapita vibaya sana. So that's how it is. So when you want to describe somebody, look at what other people are saying about that person. So you're going to have and you will always see some feelings of how people are saying. So Gachagua, please listen to the voices of people. There is room for correction, you can correct it. Lakini usikue kama mwembu. Kuna mwembu inasemekananga saa zingine, no, nasema sio waembu wote, nasema usikue kama mwembu yule ambaye anaitangwa kemenyi yote ambaye aishi. There is a mwembu aliambiwa alikuwa kemenyi yote na angeishi. So in Kiembu it is said, in Kiembu, but in Kiswahili it comes out like yule anajifanya anajua yote aishi. Whoever thinks he knows everything, they don't succeed. So we have to start now to learn. That's why you even see, even in the football they have coaches, because people need to be told. Yeah, and if you cannot be told, you cannot say. Yeah. Actually, in fact, wise people say that there is wisdom in reasoning. And there is also favor in reasoning. So you have to listen more. Actually, even psychologists say people who listen more, they actually get more value. Yeah, you're able to, they get more sharp and more. So Bwana Gachagua, kuna vitu lazima usikilize. Ukisikia watu kama sisi tukikwambia the scathing attacks, punguza kidogo. Yeah, let's not just introduce the negative energy. Negative. We are going the same direction. Kama sisi wote tunaenda Nairobi na wewe pia unaenda Nairobi, mbona uanzie kusema kwanza munipeleke Kakamega ili alafu tuende Nairobi baadaye? Yeah, so we have to reach to that level. George anasema mambo nyinyi watu okay. Wewe na Joseph, sikusamei. I cannot forgive you. You know what you have done. Siwezi kusamea. Na kama utafanya hiyo mambo, ujue utaenda kuchomeka jehanamu. Umenienjoy sana. Siwezi kubali kuenjoyiwa tena. So don't prepare your path to hell. Yeah, you have to deliver what you said. Hata kama ni next year. Yeah, so we have to keep on doing the right thing. Na lazima tusome mambo muhimu, because na huyu jamaa anakuanga na mixed languages. I don't know, hebu usikie vile alisema. No, kama alikuwa anaambia Ruto hii siwezi cheza. Siwezi weka mkutano ya Ruto hii nayo, siwezi. Yeah, I don't want to. So mimi sitaki kuweka. Acacia, that one is not Acacia. Joseph, that one is not true. Hiyo nimekataa. Hiyo mapenzi yako nimekataa. Hakuna mtu anapenda mtu anadanganya yeye hivyo. Si umenidanganya sana bwana Yosefu. Hata mtu akidanganywa hivyo atatoboa kweli? Yeah, I'm actually waiting for Budi. And reference, so wacha niwapigie simu. Unajua, yeah, Stone PK told me he is a little bit busy. He cannot be able to join the show, and I accepted. I wanted us, today we have to talk about the cross range ya Olkarau and what we need to do kwa hii wiki imebaki. What do we need to do from tomorrow, and what should we do on Thursday when we are doing the voting, because ultimately we have to do something. Can we be able to block the steal? Because Ruto will try to steal. So can we block the steal? That is something which mkubwa niko show. Haya ni sawa, unajua nilikuwa natafuta masuper sub ya masuper sub, hakuna mtu anapatikana, so kwanza ni kugonga story na masuper sub ya masuper sub hapa. Wale wanakuja hapa wameniambia bwana, wengine wameenda kuponesha matone. Some of them were heavily supporting Norway and they are trying to bleed, so wananiambia bwana, sina roho ati wewe Njiru, mpira inaisha tu hivi tu unafungua kipindi. Yani ati nataka tu watu wakuje kulia kwa kipindi yangu. Yeah, I really got happy about that statement. Ati wewe badala ati you could have waited for 1 hour. We mourn. Some of us who ambao we thought that Braut Harad angefika finali tulie. Sasa wewe ati actually that is what I did immediately after extra time. I had already set this show. Unajua tu because I was watching here in the computer, so me tu click to enter the studio, so nikaingia. So when England is celebrating and Norwegians are doing their stuff there, so mimi niko kwa show. So guys are telling me that hakuna vile ati Njiru you can expect us to come when we are still bleeding. But usually that has been my thing. Even game ya France na Spain, I will open immediately after kipenga cha mwisho. So immediately kipenga cha mwisho. So kama kuna mtu ana support Spain na France and either of your team will lose, wewe tu utakaa nje tu kwanza umone. Wengine wetu bwana, roho zetu ni ngumu bwana. We lose and move on. Kwani utafanya nini sasa? Ishatendeka. You lose and move on. You have to forget quickly man. Saa zingine unajua, that is the beauty of supporting Arsenal. That is the beauty of supporting Arsenal. Saa zingine, I'm not saying I'm a Arsenal supporter, but I have secretly been admiring them. Arsenal wanakufelu mpaka roho yako inakauka. Unakuwa na roho ya ndovu. Umeiona supporter wa Arsenal? Kuna supporter wa Arsenal umeiona anashtuka tujua ati amelose 1 million. Supporter wa Arsenal hata umuibia 1 million na kochonjo. Anasema next year I'm coming strong. Wow. Leo naona ile makombora inarushwa show. Ninaoma sana. Of course, Kipril, I'm very weak politically. You know that. Na ndio naona siku hizi sitaki kuweka full purge on politics because I'm very weak. Mimi nalianga juu ya siasa. You know that very well. Political losses are very disturbing to me. Mimi nikilose kwa siasa ni kitu inanisumbua sana. Yeah, so that is why I really want to go into politics when I know like this thing we are doing it the right way. Yes, Kipril, on that one I agree. Politically I'm very weak. Losses zinanimalizanga. Nikikusupport alafu uende uanguke. Hiyo kitu inanimaliza sana. So yeah, sawa, kesho nitawachorea. Yeah, so poleni wale the Vikings guys. At least those people have been entertaining us with you. I don't think they will be able to do you tena. Leo bwana, leo mumeniambulia. Anyway, pale England wamefika, they can also win. They can win it all. They can win it all. Si katai wanaweza inua. They only need to win 2 games. Washinde semifinali na washinde finals. Bado kuna mlima. Kushinda game 2 sio rahisi. Bwana Joseph, you know what you are supposed to do. Leo siwezi kujibu. Nitakuongelesha vibaya mpaka UBF. You know what to do. Yeah. Sasa Kipril, sasa hii rebound, bao ya pili ni rebound. Sasa ndio mnalinga hivyo at it's coming home bro. Kama inakuja home pengine ni kwa Ocean. Yeah. I have talked with the people. Nimeongea na watu wengi sana. People from Embu, people from Kirinyaga, people from Nyanza. That last statement of Gachagua yesterday is very destructive. Watu wameshtuka. You know, mimi naongeanga ukweli. Watu wameshtuka. Gachagua amesema because outright Gachagua alioneshana is not a man of unity. Si wewe unajuanga tu Kipril tu England tu ni wale tu wa kuvuruta mayoko mpaka pale mjuu, alafu wanatereza. Sijui ni nini natendekanga, wanafikanga finali wana panic. Yeah, wakifika finals wana panic. They panic. Gachagua, kama unasikilizanga watu, you have to remake that hiyo statement yako ya jana. Frankly speaking, trust me, I have spoken with so many people and people are not okay with that statement of Gachagua. Nyinyi wacheni kiherehere, you don't know what the ground is. Kenyan ground is the same. No, it's not about that. No, nile tunasema Bwana George, corrections, kuna corrections zinafanyiangwa na hapo chini ya na hapo nje ndani. There is even a time when even the husband and the wife, when they decide to fight, hawapigani mbele ya watoto. Yeah. Hawapigani mbele ya watoto kabisa. Ya hiyo statement ya Gachagua hiyo, mimi sitaki kiherehere sijui nini linda mwananchi. No, so we have to give people freedom to do things. Yeah, freedom. Anyway, I think anyway, saa zingine tunasema anyway, wacha mtu afanye vitu vile anajua. Saa zingine anyway, that's all what I'll say. Wacha watu wafanye vitu vile wanajua sasa. So I don't want to tell somebody what to do. Wacha sasa watu wafanye vitu vile wanajua. General Motors ni wapi? Na pia inaonekana pia mahindi hakutakuwa na mahindi Eldoret. So kwa hivyo tunaingia mwaka wa njaa. Unajua kama mahindi hakuna sasa, hii ni preparation ya kitu. Hebu tuanzie na hii. Remember, pride comes before a fall. It was completely unnecessary. It will go beyond Olkarau regardless of the election outcome. George, I'm grounded on... Wow.
Now, hope for a strong maize harvest in Uasin Gishu County and other parts of the country is fading as drought continues to bite across the region. Farms that were expected to produce grain for the national food basket are now covered with dry and stunted maize. The prolonged lack of rain has left thousands of farmers staring at huge losses. Elvis Kosgei has more.
There was a brief moment of relief in the month of June at the very end, when a few areas received light showers. Farmers welcomed the rain with hope that will revive crops that were already struggling. The optimism did not last. The rain stopped soon after. The dry spell returned with more intensity, leaving maize at tasseling and grain filling stages, exposed to harsh conditions that destroyed any chance of a good yield. The collapse has left families in deeper financial trouble.
Hata ng'ombe hawezi kula hii. Wajua ng'ombe wakikatia hii ng'ombe ni ugonjwa tu tena kwa ng'ombe. Hii sasa itaenda kuua ng'ombe. Sasa no hope completely. Hii inaenda tu kama hasara.
Kipsuma, farmer from Moiben, has given up on harvesting grain from his farm. He planted early and took a loan to buy seed and fertilizer, but the lack of moisture meant the maize never developed properly. With no signs of rain and the stalks already drying.
Kuna wazee hawatoki kwa nyumba saa hii. Hawatoki. Sasa pressure ile iko kwa nyumba sasa iko juu sababu ya madeni, sio kitu kingine. Deni ile wanafikiria watalipa deni na nini.
Mimi binafsi nimelima karibu ekari 35 na nilikuwa nakadiria nivune zaidi ya 30 bags kwa eka moja. Kwa upande mwingine pia nilikuwa nimechukua mkopo kidogo kusaidia ukulima, lakini sasa at the end of the year sijui sasa nitalipa na nini ya mkopo.
Some farmers have already turned the remaining crop into silage as a way of salvaging something from their farms. However, the current state of maize makes it unfit for animal consumption because it's too dry and lacks the nutrients needed to sustain the livestock.
Ikamea lakini haikufika mahali tuka lose hope, tukaanza kukata silage mara ya kwanza, tukarudia tena mara ya pili, ukame ukazidi kabisa mpaka ingine haikuchaminate. Sasa tukatoa, ndio hii sasa tumeanza kupanda ingine juu tumeona hii ukame imetulemea kabisa.
Na hii shamba hivi tumelima ili tuprepare kama ni kupanda maharagwe ama kupanda chakula ya ng'ombe.
Farmer Kelas Kwamba's worst situation moved from bad to worse.
Sasa hii mahindi imeharibika sana. Tulikuwa hapa last time na hii hata wa KDN na ilikuwa watano kidogo, lakini vile inaendelea kuwa mbaya zaidi.
Sisi vile tumelima saa hii tunajaribu kuprepare either tupande sunflower ama tupande oats. Pia ni chakula ya ng'ombe pia. Because tunaona mwaka kabisa kuna kitu kwa shamba.
The PS in charge of agriculture, Dr. Paul Rono, has spoken on the crisis affecting farmers across the country.
We put up a team of scientists to see to what extent is that failure, so that as a ministry we come up with a mitigation measure to address the issues so that we don't have hunger in this country.
This drought was to persistently continue in the next 1 week or 2 weeks. Chances are we might lose a further 20%, which means we shall eventually lose 60% of the crop.
As dry spell persists in the north region, hope for our bumper harvest is now fading. Section of farmers are now shifting to animal feed, while others are clearing their fields. Elvis Kosgei, KTN, Moiben, Uasin Gishu County.
We now take a shorter breather. I'll be back.
So already mahindi ni mbaya, so there is a likelihood hakutakuwa na lishe bora Kenya. So there is that likelihood hakutakuwa na lishe bora Kenya, based on what is happening. Let's see this. No, ukiona na ujua like kama sisi wakulima wa Embu na Mlima Kenya, our farming is subsistence. So ukiona mahindi imeanzia kuharibika mbele, imeanzia kuharibika Eldoret ni kunoma.
With the Health Digest. Now, hundreds of small-scale traders operating near the General Motors area along Mombasa Road and Enterprise Road are counting heavy losses after their business structures were demolished overnight in an operation believed to have been carried out by the Kenya National Highways Authority, KENHA. The traders say despite receiving a notice from Kenya, they were not given an alternative place to operate despite years of doing business at the site. Our reporter Catherine Muragate has more.
Friday night, hundreds of makeshift business stalls along Mombasa Road and Enterprise Road were brought down. For many traders, the demolition marked the end of businesses they say have sustained their families for more than 15 years.
Watoto wangu nimelelea hapa na nimewasomesha hapa na wajamaliza shule. So far, na juu kiwanda yangu mmegonga, serikali mmeruhusu viwanda zigongwe. Nataka kujua vile naweza kumalizia watoto wangu shule.
Serikali inafaa ituambie inatutoa hapa itupeleke wapi. Mimi hapa ndio nimezoea. Hapa ndio unapata kipato. Tuko na watoto, tunachukua maloni, tuweke kazi. Na hiyo pesa zote tumechukua za loan. Simepotelea kwa hii kazi kutoka jana.
By Saturday morning, the once busy trading center had been reduced to a heap of twisted iron sheets and timber. A few traders attempted to resume business in the open, while others relocated to nearby footbridge, hoping to salvage what remains of their livelihoods. The affected traders say they support infrastructure development, but fault the manner in which the exercise was carried out.
Wito wetu kwa serikali, watu waangalie, hata kama venye wanaweza tukombezeitia, na watu relocate kwa place nyingine.
Serikali ya mama mboga na bodaboda hii ambao tuko hii regime, ni serikali ambayo inafaa kujali mwananchi wa chini. Na ninakumbuka katika kampeni rais alisema, mtu yote atakayobomolewa lazima atapangiwa mahali anaenda kwanza. Hiyo ndio bottom up. Unajali maisha ya Mkenya wa chini kwa kumsaidia kuinuka.
Kama ni kura ama ni Kenya. Walikuja hapa kama miezi 6 imeisha. Wakakuja wakatuambia tupeni majina zenu na mtupee namba. Sababu tunataka kumpea kitu kidogo, muondoke wapi? Tuondoke hapa. Na hiyo ndio ukweli, hata watu wote wanajua hivyo. Ni ukweli kabisa. Wakasema watatupea kitu kidogo tuondoke hapa tuhamie pande nyingine. Na hao watu badala wakuja watupeche walituambia wamekuja usiku, wametubomolea na wametuondoa.
The affected traders are now appealing to the government to provide alternative trading spaces and consider compensation for the losses they have suffered. Reliable sources indicate the demolition was intended to pave the way for ongoing road expansion works along the busy transport corridor. However, efforts to obtain clarification from the Kenya National Highways Authority were unsuccessful, as calls had not been responded to by the time of filing this report. Catherine Imuragit, KTN, Nairobi.
Let's now take a look at what you
Power. Haya. Power.
Hatuwezi kuwa bila power.
Undio siaya chunye kamagone tolo. Unie chunye kamagone danangono. Tolo. Ero kamano. Koro. Kora dwane mono kura gol mamara to gimar President Ruto. Kane wabiro ka, to President Ruto benomiyo wa contribution mamare. Koro mokwongo agolo mamara. Mamara. 2 million. Mamara amiyo uka milion areyo. Mai milion marareyo, macha milion mokwongo, ma milion maradi. Areyo. To atandi meli. Bekanonge nabiro ka. To onge noko. To meli beyo wachorani munda kelne milion achiel. Wan ka. Mheshimiwa Oron bekano winjo nabiro ka. Mheshimiwa Mikio Simo Central beyo miaka eri shilling 100,000.
Milion achiel. Roba inamaanisha nini hiyo? Milion achiel.
Million achiel is 1 million. Million abad is 10 million. Million kaubal abirio aboro chikabal kauchiel.
Yani jamaa ananyesha pesa bwana. Na hiyo pesa yote walipoa na Ruto, so Ruto is well visible in Nyanza. That is what I will say. Not in Nyanza, in Luo Nyanza. Unaona ile hiyo pesa yote ni Ruto alitumana.
Yeah, so then from there wakiweka kinaenda huko tena inarudi kwake. Tena naenda kesho na pea watu wengine. Yeah,
Mara kama haitaenda kwa huo mradi walikuwa wanajengewa.
No, let's start from there. The same man ambaye kapo on the left, by the way, huyu anataka power, anataka nini huyu Mbati. Huyu Mbati, by the way, I welcome everybody. I welcome those on the comment section. By the way, I'm shocked. We waited for Anna. Oh, come ako huko. Nimeona Anna amefika.
Hebu kidogo nani bwana Roba niongee na Anne. So please Anne, itabidi urudi ukalale. Hatutaweza kusolve issues zako. It is very late. So we will not be able to solve your issues. So wewe Anne enda ulale. You are not allowed in the show. Go ahead.
Kwani aende wapi bwana? What are you talking about?
Anaende akajenge familia bwana.
Siasa right, kwani siasa right to be awake. Sisi na nyinyi mmekuwa kama Ruto, mnataka hata you tell even hata Ruto ndiye anataka.
Sasa hii ni masaa ya wazee bwana. It is 4 AM in Kenya. It is 4 AM in Kenya. Anne cannot be here.
Why?
She cannot be here. Aende sahi anafaa kukua, she should be somewhere doing some semi-finals.
Sasa mnaanza kuingia mpaka nini kitanda ya watu bwana sasa. Sasa
we have to defend families. Can you imagine?
Family, I want to defend a family.
Anatoka kwa kitanda 4 AM maji. Anatoka kwa kitanda 4 AM maji.
Si bibi yako.
No, I understand, but sasa
ako na haki yake.
Hawezi toka kwa kitanda 4 AM alafu sasa anzie kutuletea shida hapa. Anzie kuandikwa maimeri mrefu hapa. Huyu
mwenye pengine huyu mwenye anataka ana ama nini, he has to know how to ask Ana as far lakini Ana ako na haki. Tena sio lazima hata Ana kutoka hapa apande juu ya nyumba huko aseme mimi ako na haki. Unajua the problem with Kenyan men, they think they can control everybody. That's a problem. Yeah. Unaona, they can control. We had women have freedom too. What? And that's why unajua men, we don't know how to sometimes how to behave. Ana hako na freedom. Kwani wakati
Robert wacha kujifanya mzuri atili Ana afurahie.
Sio mzuri. Wakati alisaliwa na huyu anamtaka
I refuse that. Anne cannot wake up 4 AM in the name ya kukuja show. hiyo naye ataacha.
Ataamuka hata saa 6 ya usiku, saa 7 ya usiku, hata aende mahali afungue nyumba, aende juu ya nyumba, hata atembee bila nguo. Hiyo ni haki yake. Come on man. Unajua sometimes man, hii mambo ya control people now, hiyo ni kitu ya samani bwana.
Haya, wewe kwa chumvi kabisa, ukijikuta peke yako usiseme hatukukuambia. Wekwa chumvi kabisa. When you will be doing a divorce case utakuwa peke yako. Akina robot atakuwa anasema aya, atulia.
Divorce case wewe ndio umesema saa hii ati wewe no way may rules, yeah? But you moved on. You get that divorce, move on. But you got divorce, thank you. Move on. Yeah?
Uzuri wewe sio mama. Wewe you don't understand the feelings of women when they are in that level. Uzuri unajua wewe ni mwanaume na men emotions and women emotions are different. So at least hapo umeongea kama mwanaume. Yes, mwanaume unaweza sema you move on haraka, but women don't move on easily.
Yeah, si wewe ndio amekusapa wakati amekusafisha anataka kwenda. Yeah. So before you even get married, you have to have some things here. Lakini hiki tukusema mtu saa 8 nini, what he has to watch, what he has not to watch, hiyo ni haki ya mtu bwana. Yeah.
So
Robert,
let me ask you a question. Maybe you're not getting it now. Let me ask you direction. Can you imagine like in your family, your partner is waking up 2 a.m. kukuja kuona kipindi kama hii ya siasa? Are you going to take it in your American time? Are you going to take it? Ati nimeenda kusikiliza siasa.
Hata kiweka 2 a.m. 1 a.m. What does it affect me? Kwani watu mkienda kulala kila saa ni kupandana?
Ndio bana jimaja mzuri.
Inanunusu nini?
Haya, sawa.
Roba ataangalia akirudi kuangalia kazi yaanza tena. Kama ni hivyo.
Haya, sawa basi, sawa, nimekubali. So wacha nikuingize. I have talked with so many people. Okay, sawa, nimekubali. You win. I have talked with so many people and Bwana Roba, the Gachagua statement jana is a bit detestable by so many people. It is not landing well. Hiyo ya kusema watu waache kiherehere. The statement is not landing well. Do you still believe that statement? Because actually that statement has divided people more instead of bringing people together. People, uzuri, even if people get divided, it is not that they are getting out of opposition, but it is reducing fortunes of Gachagua within the opposition.
Okay.
How can he redeem himself from that? Because they are same reaction from different places.
Njiru, there's one thing we have to say the truth. Sometimes let us not assume hakuna ups and downs in even this political landscape of all these people. If we assume that everything has to us kujitetea kama watoto, Gachagua said it very clearly. He did want Kangata, by the way, Kangata to go to interrupt what's going on. But the way I see it, he had a right to say so, kwa sababu kwa nini to interrupt something which is working. Not only that, why are they going to go there on a Sunday, a day before the cross Sunday campaign? There was no need. So at this point, I think he was right. And because I think people were trying to take advantage, he was taking advantage. I've seen most people are taking advantage. What about Napata is because of the bloggers were government. By the way, I came here to talk about the fight within Kasongo and the UDA and the so-called protest-based government. They are fighting. It's a big fight. Ukiona speech ya Kindiki vile amereact amesema their own rules come next. If people are talking about that 2032, that's one tells you they are divided. Well, they are fighting among themselves. So back to your question, me, I think Gachagua did realize whatever he talked, people might have advised him, but he made it up. Wakati amekuja amesema, wakati ameongea hivi na he's going to meet Uhuru Kenyatta na kila kitu. That was the end of it. But it's not like he's just talking that way, but also what he realized, pengine hiyo kwenda vizuri. But he had a right to say what he said. Kwa sababu, even myself, how walikuwa wapi? Where were they? For almost all this month's campaign imeendelea. Wanini mjitokeza a day before the campaign is closing down and mnaenda kuunga front. Hiyo ni ujanja, tena hiyo ni utaberi. That was a wrong decision on their part. Gachagua had a right to say what he said. That's what I can say. He had a right. And I think he said it very clearly. I support what he said. Even myself, I can say the same thing.
So, because what could he have lost if those people went to Olkarau?
What is he going to get? Okay, what he could have lost?
What could he have lost?
Is one thing. You see, and that's where we have to get it right. The government want to cause some chaos in Olkarau. The government want to have some people there. So these people could be a target. It's one way they could have given a government another target. They could attack once kuharibu kura. Then from there they blame muangalie darkness nina uchinga hiyo mpaka hiyo kule piwa Thursday ndio wasema unaona. So there was this, what was I think the best thing Gachagua did was to tell them, keep away. You don't want to give the government more targets. Yeah, what they just like when they have been attacking people. Like now, even from last night, from what some clips we just before, we know the government is trying to find a way to do things, and I mean how they can cheat the election in Olkarau. But at this point, they have realized they want to lose it. So, but the statement, Gachagua, you can see it was being used all over, most from the broad-based government. Wanamuita mkabila, ati yule mkabila kama UGL yote. That's nonsense on their part. Ati mtu ambaye aliwaletea kura wakamweka. So wakati yeye alikuwa makamu wa rais wa Ruto hakuwa mkabila, lakini sasa wakati ametoka ndiye amekuwa mkabila. And that kind of narrative is what's messing up Kenya right now. If you look at it, Njiru, there's one problem if you don't see what's going on. If you see members of parliament from Meru, Embu, and Rakanit, that area, their narrative now wameanza kusema wametumiwa miaka mingi sana. Unaona? Wametumiwa, so they are trying to say they are the East, at wasi wa Kikuyu, wao ni kabila yao ni nini na nini na nini. So hii ni kitu ambaye inatoka kwa Kasongo. Is that a president you want? This man is a con man. This man is dividing the country. Yeah? Na hiyo alikuwa anasema food security. Alikuwa wapi until they realize kutakuwa na mahindi. Utaona vile alikuwa anasema Kemura sahi ile all the money wali store. Ile mana liba. Yeah? When it was supposed to have those dams, singesaidia sasa. Yeah? And that's how stupid we are. What when wanaiba pesa, then still they get power. Unaona? There's big fighting right now within UDA and the broad-based government. The mambo ya, by the way, yeye ameamua hii mambo ya VP. That's the two presidents for sale. Unaona, so kiona huyu Kindiki akiongea, anaongea kwa na hasira mbaya sana. Na alikuwa anaongea against Kibet na huyu Wetangula anasema ati yeye Wetangula so they are pushing him out of budget to be the running mate of Ruto 2027. Kindiki, the Medus are pushing him. So Joe kutoka Mombasa sio ameenda wapi? So we rather focus. In fact, opposition is doing better. Is doing better. Yeah. Hii mambo ya Ruto wacha hii itakuwa vile akina Simba wasemaji, they said it's either way. They get the vice president or they get the presidency. That's ODM. Now, mtu ambaye ana chama pengine ako na Fort Kenya is saying also they want presidency. Leo najua ndio waliambiwa leo wametuambia sio kama uko na hiyo tape. They want the vice president to come 2027 if they want the Ruya what support. None. So the people from the other part of eastern Mount Kenya, they are also saying they have the vice president right now. They can't talk of the 2032 whatever. Yeah, 2032. That's what they are talking about now. Hiyo sasa imeanza kuharibu mambo. But for us, Gachagua, what he said, okay, I can get what people are talking about, but he's right. Onana, come next week when a day like today, we'll be talking about on Saturday next week. We'll be talking about how Gachagua was maneuvered and he won. He won. Yeah? Then from there, you know what? He's the king of Mount Kenya. Na yeye akiwa na Uhuru Kenyatta, they are going to decide who becomes the president of Kenya. People are waiting for directions. I'm telling you, even Mahali William Ruto ako anakikochelea. He knows that when Uhuru, Gachagua combined with other people, it's over. And what we can also talk about here is like, okay, Gachagua said the 45 days he went to Wamunyoro. He has concluded, but he was going to consult with Uhuru Kenyatta. What does it tell you? We should also discuss about it. What does it tell you? Is now Matiang'i in the picture? It looks like, because Uhuru wants Matiang'i. Uhuru supporting Sifuna. Nana. So Kalonzo will be shut down. Kalonzo ataambia apatiwe speaker madini. Atakubali ama chukue chikiti ya Musalia yako nayo. Then from there we figure out either it's Matiang'i or Omwami or Omwami Matiang'i. That's Sifuna. That's what's left. Yeah, so at this point, I feel comfortable. And unajua kuna ile nini uliweka kwanza, the first one hiyo uliweka ile mambo the guy was conducting I think it was Nakuru, na Gachagua akapata 0 votes. That was surprising to me too. That was surprising. I didn't expect that. Yeah. I was expecting at least he could have got some votes there on that. But I think that's a better way to do a voting, to do kind of what he did. Before he was eliminating and Ruto was not on the picture. But now I think going forward, he should do the same way to tell us, I mean, he's getting some votes right now. People are watching him. If you look at it. See, alikuwa Olkarau wakati alikuwa TCP and UTA and TCP went with the landslide. Let's see what happens come Thursday. Na vile wanasema they want, did somebody say at Wednesday, you know, there's a lot of stories tonight we are getting. But at this point, I think we should also be cautious. Let us not be like another leader cannot say something like Gachagua said, then we start blaming him. At mnasikia vibaya huyu anaharibu nini na nini. Ndio the following day wameanza kumuita mkabila. Oh, nasikia vile kwanza wanatumia the word Sifuna. How did Gachagua never used the word Sifuna? How does Sifuna come in the picture? That's how wrong we have gone. That's how powerful Sifuna is, and that's how Gachagua powerful is. We should appreciate that. And that's what I said yesterday. They have to be very careful. That's Gachagua. Whatever comes from his mouth makes the news. And that's something somebody has to tell him. I don't know whether I've answered your question.
So, do you think all the measures have been put in Olkarau to win that by-election? Unafikiria sasa sisi tushamaliza uchaguzi yetu?
So at this point, it's a few days before the election. For me, I think that's where the problem is, where we have a problem with the IBC. After all these years, we should be a civilized country when it comes to election. The problem is there's too much money and too much power when it comes on the current government. And we see the problem, we don't have institutions where we can just accuse them or just try to say, you know what? Hii mambo yote yanafanyika hapa when it comes to the so-called democracy we are talking about here. Are we going to have a situation where we are buying democracy through bribery, through corruption? That's something we need to ask ourselves. So if you look at the opposition, they have run a very good campaign. That's how the campaigns are supposed to be. Nentru, the guy, the senator from Nyandarua, he has done what he was requested to do. And I'm very sure if historians were to say, or if we was to say for 2027 to have a duplicate, in fact, if we were country corruption free, right now we grab each other what did he do, how he ran this campaign. Because he ran Rocco ground campaign, the one Stone PK he has been talking about here forever. And that's what that Nyandarua senator did. And by doing so, by the time the opposition, the government came in, he had already laid the foundation. He had already just gone the next year. So wakati wamekuja na hii, the so-called bribery, people were just like, okay, I'm not going to back all these things. But at the end of the day, they had already made gains on the ground, a lot of gains, and they had mentally prepared people for what might come in terms of bribery. And people remember Gacha was ahead of this. He kept on telling them, cooler, wakati kuja cooler. And that's what the people did. And the government now, at the end of the day, whatever they used, whatever they invested, it's going to go on frames. Now, hakuna mtu ambaye anakuja hapa, by the way. I disagree with someone ambaye will wake up akisema, oh, they want to see the UTA candidates. Our main force is going to win against the TCP. That's not the way you measure the presidential election. What another could be a candidate where UTA doesn't mean they are the same people who are going to vote for Kasongo. That's not the same case. You can say that. No. And what a disappointment for them, wakati ikifika about when you wanasema na yeye mkabila, yeye ni mchinga, is not even there to run for president, he's supporting somebody else. They will have a big fucking to cover. They will have some problems. They will face some grand problems. And that's why I say Kasongo is a gone story. He's dead on arrival. His own house is on fire right now. If you can see, they are fighting for who's going to be his running mate. That's the way he wants it. But at the end of the day, they don't know what to do. That's a problem. They don't know how to solve this thing, especially Sivuna side of it. And if it's Matiang'i. Kalonzo, they can maneuver things around. Because they know Kalonzo cannot campaign the way he can campaign. They know Kalonzo is very soft. They have a lot of things they can throw on him. He doesn't have a narrative ambaye anakuja anaambia watu. But if it's Matiang'i or if it's Sifuna, they have nothing to throw on him. Even if they throw him a kitchen sink, there's nothing. So at the end of the day, I'm seeing, by the way, Kindiki was telling everybody to stop campaigning for 2027, no, 2032, in fact. Najua kuna mambo ambayo sometimes inachekesha. So I've been watching these guys here. Me, I'm excited. By the way, if it means even if the opposition work, even if they cut off what kiasi hata kiasi kupigana, I don't care. They don't pay my bills, by the way. As we want for our good Kenya. But kama imefikia, so of all this we have invested in the wanafika, pengine they cannot unite it. Who cares? Waende mahali wanaenda. Who cares? Yeah, so waende. But if they wanted them to unite, we will support them. Lakini ikifika, there's nothing you can do about it. Yeah. So wengine wako na pesa, wako na nini, ingine tu vile walipata. Hadi imefika hapa, now you are being sick kwa sababu Gachagua amesema kitu, people are being sick. Oh, abortion nini na nini, maskulia. What? Don't worry about it. Hata huyu governor wa Murang'a, he has money. Why you care about him? Yeah. Hakuna kitu. All we want is a good government, a government which is supporting our people, a government which will create jobs for the people, a government which will come in, they don't kill people, a government which will go with according to the constitution. I don't care. By the way, I don't care who wins as long as it's not Kasongo. That's the some good I want to, because I don't want to go through what I went through the last time 2022 election. I don't want to go there. Yeah. At this point, even if we're talking about these men here, we are just wasting our time sometimes. Yeah. They don't even appreciate what we do for them. So at this point, let us not just like we overreact. Yeah. And Gachagua said this and that. Gachagua, look what he has done for the opposition, that your statement. Do you think by now Kalonzo could have carried opposition in terms of that? By now, kama nilikuwa Kalonzo, sio Gachagua, oh, we'll be silent. Saa hii Kasongo alikuwa amekunyia watu. Saa hii, thank to Gachagua, he akona intelligence, he knows how to unaframe, he knows how to hit him. Unaona? Sasa huyu anaitwa Kalonzo akikuja hapa na kuambia aanze kusema vile alifanya nini mambo ya amani Southern Sudan, sio amefanya nini na nini, and he has negotiated the peace. Sasa he was the same person who negotiated this stupidity of the video 10 whatever with Raila Odinga and Kasongo. Yeah, it's a failure. Yeah. So at this point, I can tell you one thing. Kalonzo is the problem when it comes to opposition. If Kalonzo was to be somewhere there, humble like other people like Matiang'i and other principals, we'll be talking about people coming on the table. Lakini anafikiri yeye and it's time for him to come. Na unajua nini? Hii miaka yote amekuwa kwa government amefanya nini anyway? Tuseme ukweli. What has he done? I'm attacking him. What has he done? When Raila gave him that space, he could have seized the momentum, he could have seized everything. Guess what happened? Some years later, Gachagua was impeached. After he was kicked out, he seized the opportunity. And that's now he's on flying colors. Right now, it's just like he owns all this. Something Kalonzo was supposed to own. He's not a leader. Sika mnanielewa Msajiro.
Okay. No, some of these things I know you know to get alignment is not easy. Yeah, because I'm looking for unity. Where do we unite?
Unity in what? In terms of
are we going to sustain our unity in opposition when we are saying some people are not wanted somewhere if they are not needed? You have still not been able to explain to me what Gachagua was to goja kidogo, what Gachagua was to lose in Olkarau if Linda Mwananchi had gone there. What was he going to lose?
Okay, another question comes. What is he going to gain by them going a day before the campaign is over? They take credit for what they never planted?
It builds the momentum of opposition. It builds the bigger picture. How?
Yes.
See, it is start now to lock Linda Mwananchi and United and the other guys of United Opposition. It starts to synchronize them. It's the beginning of synchronization.
Weeks ago.
These are rare opportunities, Kidogo, Roba. These are rare opportunities where you have to work together. These opportunities don't come often. Not every time you have a by-election where you can work together, where you can show a think. So it was foolish to stop them.
I think it was so foolish for Mwananchi, part of it, to start telling me when all this campaign has been going there, they never when went to support this campaign or this guy to call him, they support him financially, they support him materially, even STEM to send their group. there with cars. You said that they send him to
No,
campaign.
you can guide people. You can guide people. Unaambia watu kama mnataka kukuja Olkarau fanyeni hivi. But you don't block and you don't in politics you don't. Na ini mambo mbili amenifunza.
They can go there and do what they want to do. They have a right.
No, but you know already.
Not telling them that they cannot move. It doesn't know.
No, but you already said. You already said mukienda huko kama mnataka kwenda kufanyia watu wa Jubilee. Already there is a bravado, even like that is showing open fight between even political parties which want to function together. You cannot stand there and say, if you want to come here and campaign for Jubilee or maybe campaign anyway.
Yeah. So the thing is, Jiru, there's something here we have to realize. Can you just say it was wrong for Mwananchi? This is something they could have done a long time ago. And the big Guinness, they could have won their second time, maybe tomorrow. They could have even hosted this guy wamemtembelea, even wanaonekana kwa pictures wanasema wamemtembelea, wamemsupport him, wamemjua, they support him whatever, wamemwombea vizuri, waseme we are with you. Yeah. When all these helicopters imetoka Nairobi, paka tumeambuka paka Maraya, sijui Maraya ni nani, kila men and women.
So okay kidogo Ebu statement Budi ameka hapa, Gachagua told the Mwananchi movement to stay away of Mount Kenya region's political affairs. So from what Budi ameandika, does it mean that Gachagua anataka kila mtu concentrate na region yake and no one should encroach the region of the other? Is that the intention of Gachagua? Wewe Sifuna concentrate na Western. Wewe Gachagua concentrate na Mlima Kenya. Wewe Kalonzo concentrate na Ukambani and maybe Coast.
That's a wrong statement.
No, that's a wrong functionality. Kila mtu concentrate na kwake.
That's what not Gachagua never said that. Gachagua never said that.
You cannot say Gachagua never said that, and the clips are there. Can you put that clip clearly so that we can discuss?
Keep away from Central
Roba, let's put the clip and discuss based on the words of Gachagua.
Yes.
Okay. Let's not say Gachagua did not say that, which is not right. Okay. Because
keep away from my territory, all the so-called politics of Central Kenya or Mulima. Where does he say that? He said Olkarau.
Oh no, Roba, did you listen to the whole clip?
Go ahead, I listened to the whole thing.
No, Roba, I'm only asking you, did you listen to the whole clip?
Of course I did.
Okay, then we are listening to two clips. Maybe you have a different clip. Can you give us the clip you have then? Maybe that will help us.
Can you put your clip there?
No, Roba, you are saying you did not say that. People are saying he said that.
What I'm saying,
no, Roba, stop playing games here. You've said he did not say that. What he said is this. So we are saying there is a clip that actually he said that. So we are asking if there are two clips.
What's the
no, Roba, if there are two clips, it's okay. It's okay because whatever maybe we are talking, we might be wrong. So I'm only asking.
So
maybe that will help us and enhance the conversation.
Before in this network, he agreed by the chest. They are all speech, even from I think from yesterday, whatever it happened. And in fact, I've also watched it because why did somebody anasema kila mtu aende afanye campaign kwao?
It's a short one. Simungoje icheze. Wacha icheze. Sijaeka yote. It's around 4 minutes.
To be postponed for another time so that they can continue having money. Finally, I want to call for peaceful by-election in Olkarau. The Olkarau by-election for DCP is a local affair. We have left it to Senator Methu and Jiko Muhea and the local people to do their politics. And I want to tell my brother Irungu Kangata, I heard him saying that he wants to come with the Mwananchi to Olkarau. We don't need you there. for DCP, unless you are coming to campaign for another party. If you want to come and campaign for UDA, please go ahead. If you want to come and campaign for Jubilee, go ahead, or any other party. But DCP, ours is a local campaign. We don't want confusion in Olkarau. The campaign has gone on for 3 months. Irungu Kang'ata has never been Olkarau. He does not understand Olkarau. He doesn't understand the issues. He doesn't understand the narrative. He cannot come and bring Leader Mwananchi there to campaign the last day without knowing what the issues are and how the campaign is being done. That campaign has been going on for 2 months, led by Senator John Medho and others. You have not even talked to John Medho. How do you say you are coming to campaign for a candidate? You don't even know him. You have never seen him. You don't know the area. You don't know what is happening. For DCP, we have a local campaign. Even the principals of the United Alternative Government have requested them to let the people of Olkarau do their own campaign. It's a local campaign with local issues, and we would like it to remain that way. That is what I have told Senator Muraga to tell Irungu Kang'ata. Asilete kierere Olkarau. It's not necessary. Let him leave the people of Olkarau to do their own campaign and deal with their issues the way they know how. I am on standby myself. I have not been to Olkarau because it's not necessary. The campaign is going on very well. But if the team leader, Senator John Medho, requests my presence in Olkarau, I'll be available. That request has not come. And I'm happy with what is going on. And it's going on so well that William Ruto wants the election postponed because he has spent money and people are not moving. 1 billion shillings. There is no change in Olkarau. So if you guys are going there to cover the by-election, make sure you carry change, otherwise you lose your money. The only currency in circulation is 1,000. So if you want tea, you must pay with 1,000, there is no change. So I'm just giving you free advice in case you are deployed in Olkarau. Please, there's too much money and 1,000 shillings note, and you are likely to lose your money. So if we have mtu ya chai, chukua change ya 100. Si ndio? Na hakuna hoteli ya kukaa, you know where to stay. All the places are full. And also be careful. When you go there, take care. The Twilight girls have also gone to Olkarau. You know what they do during the T-bonus. You know the T-bonus. They normally move where the T-bonus is. The bonus of this year is Olkarau. All the Twilight girls from Nairobi, from Mombasa, they are in Olkarau. If I go there myself, I'll also be very careful. I don't want to get in trouble with the Reverend Doctors. Yeah, so mukienda huko pia mjue iko namna hiyo. That is the atmosphere in Olkarau. Nimeona nisaidie nyinyi kwa sababu ni marafiki yangu, msiende kupata shida huko. Si ndio? Yeah. And also Olkarau is a good opportunity for many fellows who have run away from their homes.
Sasa amesema wapi?
Si hapo ni pale where he was blocking that hell.
No, where does he say Mwananchi they should not campaign in Central Kenya or Mount Kenya?
Sasa hey, Bwana Roba, you cannot decode that message.
Yes, that alive, Bwana. Let us not crucify somebody. He only concentrated on Olkarau. That's it. He just said it that way. And I support what he's saying. So where are all these guys? Wakati amekuja Britain, amesema chama wachangie uchamata anunue gari hata pick up hata kufanyia campaign. Where was the other functions who wanted him for good? That's not tukuja hapa tusema tuongea hapa. Unless there's something, that's the same tape. I've been listening. This just gave you. Even those on the comment section, mmesikia Gachagua akisema ati Linda Mwananchi wasiende kukampeni ati wakae kwao na nini. Vile was being framed here. Hapana.
You know, unless we are let me say this, unless our perception of English is very wrong. My party leader said, these are local affairs.
Exactly.
Okay?
Exactly.
Now let's go. Yeah, stop. Why you? Why? I just started talking. Okay, talk.
No, relax kidogo, wacha Mbudi execute alafu kuje. We are here for long hours. Just
No,
relax.
let him talk. Let him talk because he's so defensive, and I know where we are going to end up. Because I have not even started. He started exactly. You talk. He did not say, let us agree like that. But the ripple effect is going to be there. It's unfortunate. And we never expected that. There was a better way we could have handled them, more especially with the Irungu Kingata making a huge mistake, which we saw openly, that some of us did not even think that after him saying he's not working with Ruto, you saw where he was. It would have been handled better in terms of wording. But because we will argue about words, wacha tuiachie hapo. There was a better way to handle it for me.
Yeah, of course, that was supposed to be an in-house discussion. If I must, that was an in-house discussion where Gachagua was supposed to speak with the principals. Now, Ambie, we don't need your help for now, but that was not supposed to be said in the media. When you say such in the media, it is very destructive because now this is what it brings, Bwana Roba. Number one, it actually cements what some Gachagua haters have been saying. Kama sahi, many of the people wale ambao naongeanga na wao, this is what they are telling me, and to some extent, I think now they are starting to make sense. If, like, for example, Roba, if today somebody tells you Gachagua is a dictator, is that a speech not portraying that?
Njiru, I'm one person who have come here and I've even from yesterday, today, and I said very clear, he could have done a better job to say what he's saying. My argument on this statement is whatever someone wrote there. He said that Gachagua said that no, everybody should go and campaign where they come from. Nobody should go and campaign in Mount Kenya. I'm not seeing that way. He just said it's very clear. Olkarau is a local issue. He didn't want to nationalize the campaign. That's why maybe kept away. And that's why even some of us will say...
Robert, Olkarau is not a local issue at this moment. At this moment, we are doing a litmus test that obviously, you know, Kasongo wants to portray that the mountain belongs to him. At the point we spoke a day before yesterday and said, unfortunately, the way Kasongo has run this campaign, he has made it a more national issue because the way he's using state resources, the way he's bribing openly, the way, I mean, we all spelled it out until we said, there must be a way, the whole opposition, to look at this matter and bring this to an end. And part of it, we said that, look, we must come together to make sure that this thing does not continue. If it does, it is a replica of what will happen in 2027. That is the mistake I'm having, that at this particular time, we cannot ignore and say, this is a local affair. I do agree that we don't need Kangata, but my mistake is here. It portrayed the image that we have been fighting for so long. And that image is unfortunate because one of the reasons they purported to impeach Gachagua is because they said everything he wanted it to be the mountain, the mountain, the mountain, which actually has not been the case. So see our argument here. Our argument is the wordings and the timing.
Alex,
it's unfortunate. But you know what? You have a right to your own opinion. But for me, I feel like we just deflated the hope. Now, the suspicion now will run deeper.
Yes, go ahead, Budi.
No, okay. By finishing, the suspicion now will run deeper. The other side are going to have a talking point, which obviously they are going to use as propaganda, which obviously at this time kulikuwa tumeimaliza. Gachagua had done a beautiful job of being able to speak to all communities. Now, if we decide and say that all issues are local, then what happens? What happens? If we use that statement and say all issues are local, then what happens? That statement will bite us for the long time to come.
Roba, go ahead now. You can react.
Njiru, thank you for stopping me. What I was trying to tell Alex, I agree with him. Kachao misspoke some words here, and this is something he has done before. Even when remember his trip to USA, he made a statement about the community. Like he said, maybe over 90% the Kenyans in USA, they are from Mount Kenya. Something ambayo watu walimfamia akamwambia that's not a true statement. Akakuja akarekebisha. I can trade this one on the same way. Yeah, he misspoke. If he could have attacked the governor, he could have never used the word Linda Mwananchi there. I don't know how he brought it there. People feel like tumefika mahali, so I get it. I get that unity. Everybody wants that unity. We are praying for that unity. That's how much we hate Kasongo. That's how much we want the unity of this, of Gachagua with the other opposition leaders and whoever supporting them. We want that unity. Yes, I get it. He could have said it maybe privately. I get it. But he misspoke. But the only thing I can tell you, and in fact, even the tape proves me right, he was only talking about the by-election, which is coming next week. And they said that this by-election, the way it was designed, is going to be a local issue. Local issue. He never wanted to make it like all over. That's why he kept away. And in fact, that's what he said, and that's what has been happening. So, could have he been like, he could have kept quiet, put it in a different way? Yes.
So Robert, at this point, do you think it's a local issue anymore? The Olkarau, the way it has, it is right now. Is it a local issue anymore?
Alex, the one thing I think also Gachagua was telling us, and if you go and that's what's happening, the government deployed a lot of people there. There's some who want to be used. So they were planning maybe to attack even these guys if they come there on Sunday. Linda Mwananchi, they make chaos. They want all these chaos because they know they are losing. So the one thing Gachagua never wanted them, maybe that's the way you could have put it. Don't give the government some excuse to come and start like they want to mix things up. They want to attack people. They want to bring chaos because on Monday they said if there's no peace or whatever, they want to postpone the election or something like that. Remember, they already IBC already said some statements. So I think what he meant was don't give them another target just to come and just say there were chaos and other things to happen. That's what he meant. If I'm trying to go because he concentrated saying
obviously, I don't think Gachagua in his right mind was tackling the unity and the efforts that they have made over the past 12 so months of working with the united opposition. I don't think that was his station. My problem is this: it came out wrong.
Yeah, but
and And I want you to understand this. It came out wrong. Unaelewa? And
Alex.
let me finish my...
Okay, well,
okay, go ahead, my friend.
Okay, so remember at the time when Mutul said, yeah, I support. I mean, I remember when Gachagua alikuja akasema wale wanasema nimesema ni Kalonzo. Mimi sichasema. How comes nobody said it? I mean, what do you think the campus could have said? Or something else? Or when Mutul came, akakuja akasema yeye anataka Kalonzo. What Matiang's people could have said? Or there are some things here also we should not. Let us give them. We still have room for this. Yes, I agree with you. Even today, if you have seen some tapes, they have taken already the advantage. They are attacking. Si walisema unaona wakati huyu wanasema huko Western the what's his name? Sivuna amekataliwa pande zote, so kwa hiyo waanze kufanya nini? That's Cheruiyot himself ambaye alisema hivyo. Unaona, they have already that one there. So that's what I said and I've been saying here, Alex. Gachagua should realize whatever comes from his mouth makes news. So he should be careful what he says. And here, remember also what you asked. There's a question you raised a couple of months ago. Okay, what about these people unite and make a government? What follows next? These are some of the things we need to clean up from the beginning, because how somebody thinks is more powerful than others, or is the divider. But the only thing I can say, he also realized he made a mistake. Wakati amekuja kusema unajua nini? Nikimaliza taenda kuona Uhuru ndiye atuambie mahali to consult. He let us some hope on some of us. Go ahead, Alex.
Okay, so let me ask a question. So where does this whole ordeal leave us when it comes to the, maybe Budi, I can ask you, I can also see Njia comment on the other side. So when it comes to unified campaign platforms, where does it leave us? Like in future, can we be able to work together? At what time are we going to define the national agenda? Bwana Budi? Aya, Budi ni kama ameondoka kidogo. So, Bwana Roba, can you explain to me, when are we going to define the national agenda? And we campaign on it, all of us.
Okay, so for me, what I'm seeing here, these can all be washed away. When these people come together, they meet together now, they talk as one voice, as united opposition. Then from there now, all of us will say, hey, that's what they've been waiting for. That one is going to happen. If they are going to be united anyway, it's going to happen. I think also what Gachagua was trying to send a message to Mr. The governor, how do you call him, Kangeta? Kangata, yes. He was sending a message that you think you want to win an election from my backyard, because everybody there is fighting for that rights if you don't join TCP. So there are a lot of things here we can say here what maybe was on his mind. But at the end of the day, this can be forgotten if Gachagua will be on the next day, Kangata will be there talking with him. Wanakuja pamoja, when every pieces have come pamoja, wakena conference, pengine, then from there they come up, watuambie who's want to be the flag bearer, makamu wake, yeye atafanya nini, what's he want to be, na kila kitu vile wamesema. Mount Kenya, they don't have a candidate, so they don't support somebody 100%, and that one scares. So I want to divine muite Uhuru Kenyatta Mkabira, muite Gachagua Mkabira, when they are supporting somebody from, let's say, from Kisii or from Ruya. I want to call him here Mkabira. That narrative, it ended on frames. None. There are some things here, some of them inakuja tu, baba alikuwa anasema mnyambo wa punda. There are some things here itaenda tu. But Then from there now we can start a national conversation on what they do moving forward, some of the things they can do different from the current dictatorship government we have in power right now. And that's when the conversation starts. So I'm waiting to hear what Uhuru Kenyatta is. And now I have a feeling Matiang's picture starts coming in, because remember, Uhuru is a Matiang guy. And Matiang can be told, back off. Pengine achia huyu, na huyu. They say they want to share notes. And I'm telling you, Uhuru combining with this guy, that's a deadly force. That's not something you can take for granted, I'm telling my friends. That's deadly. In terms of politics, I don't mean in terms of... By the way, it's just here, Alex, accept my email, but the way we were attacked in Keungu. And so far, the reaction has been a boycott, even mambo ya pasi na nini, biashara na nini. Don't you think we should also say this, while the attack, but something with, people died, people got injured, but also we can say something, or we have run something out of it, because power of the people matters too. So when people went back and condemned it, they boycotted the business. Walianza kulia. So it's something also we need to talk, and I'm happy to see my friend Alex here, and I hope he's going to tell us more special what I want to hear. Njiru Simbarati.
Yeah, okay, sir. Budi amerudi ama bado? Budi, are you there?
Robai can only tell you that's a local issue. Keep away from it.
So wacha nikuuliza swali Budi kidogo. Now, how do we define our national agenda based on this? So, what is the difference between?
And that is why I'm telling Robert that statement. We need to own up, and as soon as possible, we find a way to deal with that small statement. It will haunt us. Take it to the bank. Njiru, if you are a good political student, that the intention of Gachagua was not what now has come out. His intention is he had gotten a brief and he knew the workings of Kangata, which you and me are not privy of. Unaelewa? Because he started by actually singling him out. Unaelewa? But how it came out...
We are focused with that alone. Kidogo Budi, and Gachagua needed to focus with Irungu Kangata alone. Na mimi sioni angeweka Linda Mwananchi on that equation.
No, angeweka Linda Mwananchi ndani through this. He will have told them, be careful, you are working with an individual who has no interest with us. Gachagua is a linguistic person. He's a literary scholar. Not only that, he's a psychological... the way he deals with Kasongo, he deals with him psychologically. Wakati anasemanga hii mtu haezi kulala. So my idea is, if this statement we are going, I'm wondering, look, Njiru, let's go back to Mbeere. And like Malava and Olkarau, Mbeere was an artificial election created by Kasongo to test if the larger mountain is not going to vote for him, he is going to be able to portray that he has taken Mount Kenya East. So he created an artificial by-election. And by stamping that he still has there, he won, and later on he came, not only, he didn't win, they stole. You saw what they did. And you saw the chest stamping that he came up with. Now, my fear is Kasongo is going to take advantage and create an artificial by-election, and the issue will be DCP keep off local matters. How are we going to deal with it? At this point, I think we must find our way of holding on to this unity because the politicians, and this is you and me know, for us, we want change. Politicians, they want power by all necessary means, whether it means pre or post election. So, and I've always said, every political party has a wing that is negotiating with the other in case they lose or they win. They always have a second thought. And you have seen how Baba operates. Now you have seen how Kalonzo has operated. You've seen how Uhuru operated. Some of these things actually come to bite us later on to understand that we have always had a coalition government. My sister came up here and told us the other day, which we didn't know, and I was shocked. I don't know if I can buy it until today, but it seems like she knows more. That the person actually who agreed Ruto to take power is not even Uhuru. It was Raila, because they agreed with Ruto, they are going to share power. And immediately Ruto refused. I don't know where she took that from. But you must know that the politician, their main agenda is power. So forcing the narrative sometimes gears off the politicians from power, then following us so that through us they can get power. But otherwise, such kind of rhetoric makes it easier for them now to see how they are going to deal with Gachagua and be able to do what? To detonate the very strong argument of unity we have laboriously built to now. Until the other day, I don't think Kasongo had any power across because it was seen that it was the whole country against the UDA. We didn't care if Jubilee was contesting there. We didn't care any party was contesting there. We wanted DCP to have its first member of parliament, and therefore we go to this election confident that Kasongo is a past thing. Now, we have created a problem out of it. It doesn't mean that we are still not rooting for DCP. We must win that seat. The question is the repercussions. The question is the repercussions we are going to have after winning. I'm afraid.
And can we be able to come together again? If that is the rhetoric.
I don't know. I feel, for me, I'm talking as Bundi. It is an unfortunate statement. Politically, it is an unfortunate statement. There was a way, given the fact that Kangata again will have the next day shown us who he is. Because obviously, we all agree that what he said was right. Kangata, you saw him, what he was doing. Bila Nasifu anasema, that was very unfortunate. And I think we need to run this more than what Gachagua said. We need to run what actually Kangata said, that Wanga ni 2 term. That will help us. Unaelewa? When he said, we need to find out, I am concerned more particularly that what we had built was formidable. So maybe we need to run more that Kangata, not maybe, we must, as we put Gashagua's statement of local, then we must also in line put Gladys Wanga and Kangata when actually Kangata is showering Gladys Wanga the lies. Then we must put Sifuna's statements. He was actually in the what committee was that when the park in the Senate when Wanga appeared and he was asked about the state of the hospital, the state of those people who have been paid with SHA, and we found that Gladys Wanga was actually a terrible governor. Now, we must put another statement of saying that Gladys Wanga is one of the best governors vis-a-vis Edwin Sifuna's position of who? Gladys Wanga Gachagwa's statement that Kang'ata must stay away, because I think that was his target. Now, when Linda Mwananchi came out, that is now the problem. He should have warned. He should have warned Edwin Sifuna vehemently that, look, this man has no good intention within our unit. So we must find our way not to spin doctor, because we are not spin doctoring here. We need it to come out that honestly, what came out was not what was intended, but what was intended to come out is to show who truly Kang'ata is, and we must portray Kang'ata to be who he is, because he showed it where? He showed it in Homa Bay. We need to do that ASAP.
And actually, your story ya Kang'ata is also more serious, because when Kang'ata is showering Gladys Wanga, it puts him in a locus even with Ruto. Bwana Budi. Ngoja kidogo. Hebu niulize Budi alafu. No, kidogo.
He kind of his speech at the end, he was mocking them. It looks like
you know, but in the politics you have to understand how people talk. Sometimes in the politics, the what you are speaking and your association have to blend. Which Kang'ata is having is when he is having close proximity with Wanga, I see that close proximity putting him on a path with Ruto.
So Njiru, Jamali tuambia he has been invited.
A secret path. Let me call it a secret path.
Yeah, he was invited by Kajwang, who's the senator of Homa Bay. Yeah. And he has also, before he has invited.
Hebu nikuulize kidogo, because you know in Kenya people sometimes what we say, sai ukiinvitiwa na Kasongo, no, sio wewe, if you are a serious politician, tuseme sai Kalonzo akiinvitiwa na Kasongo ataenda.
This was an invitation as we has been there for a year.
No, I'm just trying to ask, sai Kalonzo ama Matiang'i akiinvitiwa na Ruto fundraising, ataenda?
Can we play his speech, what he said there? Instead of just like taking things for out of
No, there's a question I'm asking you, because unajua sometimes even if we say we do not criminalize association, but there are some association which will paint. Do you remember ile picha ya Matiang'i ilitoka kwa airport, ile walipigwa picha kidogo na wanaitwa aje hao watu ya ODM?
Yeah, ilikuwa ni Junet. Yeah.
Junet and another guy. Did you see that picture bringing problems? Because ngoja kidogo, some people do not understand, association at a time when political decisions are being made, you cannot just be with somebody. Ni kama saa hii Bwana Roba, if you happen to picha yako hata tu ionekane tu na Ruto, people will suspect, because it is at a point where political decisions are being made. So when political decisions are being made, you cannot put yourself on that path of proximity. And that is why I'm trying to tell you, when Irungu Kang'ata is being seen with Gladys Wanga, that
was Gladys Wanga's function.
No, even if it's a function, kidogo, relax, even if it's a function, na video wanaongea hapo, that thing, it even inamweka on a locus even with Ruto. Hiyo kitu inamweka mbali sana, like, sijui kama Bwana Budi unanielewa hapa.
So yes, you come here, you say politics, we should not, some of these things, but like enemy, like no. So the guy was invited by the senator, that was a good friend of his, and they've worked together for a long time. And this is something he needed to go there. Look at his speech, what he said. He attacked Wanga, never put there, and he attacked the protest government. And in fact, to tell you the truth, I'm looking at some of the media.
So by saying Glad Wanga is two-term, and I have my friend, that, you see, what you take out of a political speech.
Alex, what do you do?
No, listen, Roba, now you are not listening to anybody. You just want to debate by yourself. At this particular time, you cannot afford, if you are one term, to say two term. That wording, one term, two term, is not just a word. It is an endorsement and it's a metaphor of actually Kangata telling us that Ruto is working with Wanga, and what Ruto has done to Gladys Wanga and them working together, it's an endorsement that they have done good job. And therefore, if Gladys Wanga is two-term, then Ruto is two-term. He didn't need to invoke the word two-term if it was just a mere invitation. When Kangata, Ruto has come to his backyard, he has avoided a lot of things, including saying one term, two term. Why all of a sudden use the word two term? It brings, in politics, there is a veneer of words that actually speaks more than other words that you speak. A metaphor that aligns you with your future and your alignment. He's showering of praise to Gladys Wanga, the arch enemy of the leaders of Linda Mwananchi, comes in bad taste. So the trust issues, there's no way you can defend Kangata here in regards to that. More especially when he knows he just started working with Linda Mwananchi. You must be very cautious. You have to walk on eggshells, more especially in terms. Maybe I'm wrong, Roba, but if I was Kangata and a seasoned politician, because he told us and he gave us his CV that he started as MCA, he went as an MP, he went as what? Senator, and now as a governor. So his experience across the board tells you what he speaks is not by mistake. I don't know how you could defend Kangata using the word two-term this particular time when you know.
Let me ask you a question. So, what about if he's going to convince Kachwang joins Linda Mwananchi? Kachwang, where he's attended Kachwang's function.
Then he will have spoken about Kajwang. Why would he shower praises to Wang? We have no problem. We don't criminalize. We don't criminalize association.
Let's be sincere.
We only criminalize your words, not association.
Let's be sincere on this. By the way, before Wanga started opening her mouth, everybody knew Fed was praising her. Even Alex, I can remember you praising her as one of the performing governor in Kenya. I
never even one day. Me and Muzalendo are on the record. Me and Muzalendo are on the record questioning the workings of Wanga and Murkomen. In the first year of Ruto, Murkomen visited Homa Bay so many times, and the maize meal was one of the things we questioned.
And I'm one person who came here and said he's overrated. I don't know what. That's fine. That one's gone. But the thing is, let's not bring Kangata on this, because at the end of the day, I don't know where he stands, and nobody's defending him here. At the end of the day, by the way, if I was Kachawa and I hear this guy is into Gladys Wanga, what else do you want him to say? He wants to atoko mapei mahali amekuwa huko watu ambao wanakuwa na mwito mkabila. Then Kangata went there, he could have gone there as in fact, I think he said it. I think there's a way he said it. And I also think when I read the speech, there are some things we picked, even the media, some things we picked on him. He was kind of against the so-called protest government. Let's be on that. Now, Alex, the one thing I'm bringing here, we keep on talking about the opposition fight. What about the big fighting which is going on between Kindiki and this guy called, what's his name? The guy from the State House controller, I don't know, controller or what, Tibet, and the non-governor. So the fighting is just started. This is going to be even a physical fight. Because they cannot campaign.
Roba, those are non-issue. Kindiki was appointed by Ruto. He has no power and is at mercy of Ruto. So whatever Ruto will decide based on the perception on how to steal election, that is how we're. Kindiki is not written on the stone, on the tablet that he must be. Kindiki must come to his own senses by now that, look, the only reason Gachagua was taken there out is because Gachagua was bold enough to talk and speak and tell Ruto, look, we were elected on a ticket. Kindiki cannot speak. So us talking about Kindiki is a waste of time. Kindiki is a puppet. He's not even a DP.
The narrative of 2032 is now being brought. I'm asking myself, how? Mbati brought it. Now Wetangula is bringing it. Now people from Mombasa are bringing it. I don't know who is also bringing it.
You know, the moment you start speaking the narrative of 2032, you have given up that Ruto is already winning 2027. My friend, let us not go to 2032. That is the distortion that Ruto will want us to do. They've tried it so many times and we have refused it. In fact, we have put Ruto into task that 2027 is not over. We can't go to 2032. My friend, let's talk about 2027. Because if we start talking about 2032, we have given Ruto a leeway.
So that's what Kindiki told them, stop the campaigning of 2022. If we do this, we are going to lose 2027. I'll say, man. That's what he said. I'm just like, oh, this fighting, this is a big fight. It's a big fight. Maybe now this might go just like, assuming what I'm seeing also, what we are not talking about is the people from Meru. Our members of parliament. That's what they are saying is really horrible. Horrible. They are just saying wanatumiwa kama gunia. Kenyatta, sisi nani, Kibaki, Uhuru, wamekuwa wanatumiwa. Ati wao wamejitenga, ati wao wanataka title na wao wanataka title deed. I don't get it. Your fight is on anyway. That's another fight we should also look at. That fight, this is going to be also something very interesting. Because huyu jamaa anatumia mambo ya FP to put himself as the front, at the front line.
Yeah, na pia Roba, can you comment about the former governor of Meru, Kiraitu Murungi? Vile leo amesifu Ruto vibaya sana. Sijui kama umesikia hiyo speech ya Ruto ya Kiraitu. Go ahead.
Sijasikia hiyo part of Murungi. Not that anything.
He said Ruto has never lost any election. Na kila rais upigiwa makelele. Na akasema we plan with Ruto for 2028 to 2038. That was Kiraitu. Sijui kama Mbudi, have you heard hiyo speech ya Kiraitu? A very bad speech. Kiraitu Murungi, former governor of Meru. The guy has seriously spoken very badly. Ati Ruto hajaishinda uchaguzi, hata hii mutajaribu na mtoboi. Just say that. Budi, are you there? Budi, are you there?
Oh yeah, I'm here. Sorry.
Umesikia hiyo speech ya Kiraitu there?
Yeah, I saw Kiraitu saying that defeating Ruto is not a walk in the park, and I totally agree with it. No, Ruto is very diabolic, and we need to acknowledge the person that we are going to this election with. And we have said this, Ruto is not a person who will give up power easily. We are not talking about people who are human like maybe Kibaki, maybe Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, maybe even Raila Amolo Odinga. We are talking about a person who knows his evilness supersedes forgiveness. So if he gets out of there, I don't think anybody will be able. For the first time, unlike Moi, when we remove Ruto, I don't think anybody will use even the courts to forgive Ruto. I see a scenario whereby people. You see how the issue of Nepal happened? People went to the palace, burnt everything, or how Mobutu Sese Seko was treated. I see that kind of scenario. So, and Ruto knows that. Ruto knows exactly that everyone who is even part and parcel of him, it's not like they love him. So what Kiraitu was actually projecting is very true, that we must be dealing with the issue of removing Ruto with some extremity, not even consensus. And that is why the other day I was saying, I mean, our unity is so critical at this particular time that we must not give Ruto a perception of even 20% of the mountain, because Ruto is running under numbers. And those numbers are what we have seen throughout the election of Kenya since 2013, that we win by a margin of 200,000. And I think Sifuna has done a very good job about reminding us every day that let it be that next year in August, we wake up that Ruto has been re-elected with 200,000 votes. Why? Not that Ruto is going to win. Ruto is using the Machiavellian principles of divide and rule, of authoritarian, of state and sponsorship of goons to completely make sure that by all means necessary, he creates chaos and therefore runs this election single-handedly through state operators. Now, I think more and more politicians are coming out warning us because they have been part and parcel of the past state machinery. Kiraitu is not speaking as a politician now. Kiraitu is speaking as a past practitioner. And we need now to take him seriously. So if you looked at him as a politician, then I think it's from a different angle. For me, I was listening to him as a practitioner. Now, him and Kimbemia, for me, are one people who understand what state powers are, including somebody like Matiang'i. They know honestly every nitty-gritty of what the state has done before and what they themselves are facing against this state again. So I take his statement very serious. The question is...
But does it mean that even if Ruto has not lost an election, he cannot lose? Do they want to tell us that in this life there is no the beginning of anything?
Njiro, again, why do we keep always running on this narrative that Ruto has never lost an election? I mean, the truth is that Ruto has lost many elections. Ruto has only been declared. So when we allow the narrative to be defined to us, then we keep on debating things from a wrong angle. You truly think that Ruto has never lost an election?
Of course, I don't believe that, because even for me, 2022, I don't believe he won it.
Yeah, so let's that not be the talking point.
Let's say he takes elections, not wins. He takes. Right?
Yeah, I mean, let's agree that Ruto Ruto knows how to grab, power. Okay? And he has always been ready. He has told us that when Uhuru wanted to give power, he told him it can't be. You remember when Uhuru came to that rally, that when he was very drunk and on top of the vehicle, he wasn't ready. He was just pushed to accept and go to that impromptu rally. And Ruto confesses that he was part of the machinery that did that. So let's not give credit to Ruto that he has never lost an election. Ruto has lost elections. And let us also agree that, look, the problem we have been having is the people who announce the elections. And we see the commissioner has already been compromised. And the question is if we have, and I think Matiang'i spelled about it, that the trust within this IEBC is totally gone. And again, we have prepared the obvious operatives that ends up announcing and a person who has not won. So I think, just a minute.
So I can welcome Ashley. Ashley, how are you?
I'm doing okay. I hope everybody else is. I wasn't going to get into the studio, but I just wanted to offer a different perspective on the issue of Kangata. And Njiro, you went to college in university in Kenya, right?
Yes, Eldoret, Moi University.
So imagine maybe someone was your best friend, and now they're in parliament, but they're on the opposing side. And then maybe they call you to a gathering. So if you're friends, you talk off camera. People join different parties for different reasons. Someone might be, I'm saying like Wanga, and I had Kangata and Wanga were in college together. Assuming they were friends, and they can talk off camera.
Chanda na pete, na walikuwa chanda na pete.
Kwa hivyo anaweza kuwa yuko kwa hiyo maybe kuna ile reason, maybe there is a reason Wanga is in that where she is right now, and she can tell Kangata off camera why she's doing what she's doing, so he understands where she's coming from. So we don't expect them to be enemies, and even if they are, let us applaud Kangata because he didn't have to say I will not vie for the next general election on a different ticket from UDA. He could have stayed in UDA and there would be no question today when he went where he went. He did move out of his own volition and he was pressured to enter into DCP. You remember when Gachagua was telling him, if you don't come to DCP, you will not be elected. And he didn't go to DCP. He went to where he felt, and he actually said today, the reason he went to Linda Mwananchi is because it represents all of Kenya. He can see different tribes. It is not a tribal party. So let us try and take people at face value until they prove us otherwise. When you look at Kangata's record, he's not shady. He hasn't been shady in his dealings. So why can't we give him the benefit of doubt? And if we need to get more people to our side, how can we draw lines? If we draw these lines, we can't fight all the time. If we can be able to convince people to come to our side, and this is done through networking. See, it is better. I would rather see him going there during the day than here they were somewhere in a meeting at night. And remember, these people are friends. I know one of the MPs who went to college with my sister. I know him personally because I used to go and visit my sister in college. Now, they were very good friends. So assuming they're on opposite sides, maybe she's also a politician or something. And then you see them together and then you don't know their history. So they might even disagree, but they are still friends. So remember, people are not enemies. They can disagree and be friends. And you don't know whether he had gone there to try and poach her to go to Linda Mwananchi. How are we going to convince them if we cannot talk to them? That is why we cannot impeach Ruto, because you don't want people to be seen with the opposing side. We have to convince them, but we can't convince them by being their enemies. We have to remember, we talked about a middle yesterday. We have to try, and you see, like when Kangata went there, mostly he talked about what they agree on. You start with people where what you agree on, and then you agree to disagree on what you don't agree on. As long as somebody is not killing people, like Wanga, I don't see why Kangata shouldn't go to his rally if they were friends, if they have things they agree on, if there are things they can hold together and uplift Kenyans. He was there on a school Harambe. Why shouldn't he go? Because they have different ideologies. Like, I know our democracy is young, and that is the thing. We have thought that having differing, even here, some people don't like me because today I say this, tomorrow I say this. I mean, sometimes I will support you halfway on what I agree with you, and another half I don't agree with you. So sometimes I look like I'm wish-wash. It is not. It is because sometimes I agree on some of the things you say, but I don't agree on some of the other things you say. But until, like now, I can follow Gachagua up to a point, and then I decide, I see him doing this, and I'm not there anymore. I've backed out. So even these leaders of ours, let us not, yani, I don't even know how, I'm trying to think how I can best say it. Kama sasa tunataka kuimpeach Ruto, na kuna watu wa Oburu, akina Wanga, those people who are on that side, ODM that went to that side, or Linda Ground. How are we going to convince Linda Ground so we can get the number if we can't speak to them, if we can't have relationship with them, if we can't try and seduce them? And you see, that's the things, that's the reason we have an impasse, because we don't try to reach out across the aisle. You know, when Obama came to power in 2008, one of the things he tried to do, he tried to invite the Republicans. He would have, like parties at the White House, and they would come, but they still, because he was trying to socialize with them. You know, people work with people they like. People work with people they get along with. When you create enmity, it is not possible to work. We live in Kenya. We have to find a way to work with one another. We cannot work against each other. We can't be opposing the government all the time. When they do something that is good, we don't oppose it because they did it. We agree because it is going to benefit Kenyans. But there are things we say, because you have done ABC, we will not let you go back because you killed our children, even though maybe you have done this good. So I think that is the place. The reason I came here is because we think we have to form enmities when we don't. What if Kangata can be able to talk to Wanga and convince her to leave Ruto? But we can't say, he's a mole. Like Kangata, what was the reason for him? It's not even been a month since he defected. And then now we are calling him a mole. He didn't have to defect. He could have said in UDA, he's been himself. He's just living his life with freedom and not fear. And we should also do the same. And there is nothing in Kangata. He has been a good governor. When he was with Uhuru, when he didn't agree with him, he wrote him a letter. When Uhuru didn't respond, he left. And the good thing about him, he doesn't abuse. He gives you reasons why he left. He gives you reasons why he joined the other party. Even when he left Uhuru, he gave reasons why he had left. When he left UDA, he gave reasons why he had left. When he joined Linda Mwananchi, he gave reasons why he has left. He's not joining blindly. So why are we crucifying him? Just because he was seen with Wanga, how are we going to get Wanga to come to our side if we can't talk to her? How can we swear her as an enemy? Well, we should be seducing her to come. We need as many people as possible to our side. Wanga represents a big following. She has a following. So if you could be able to talk to her, how do you know whether, Sifuna said there are some people who can't leave now because they want maendeleo. Na kama ni wala watu, you see, there are people who are still with Ruto because they want the development to come to their side, but they are saying at a point they will leave. What if there is something she's getting now and she wants to make sure that it is complete before she leaves? Let us give people the benefit of doubt until they prove us otherwise. One person I would crucify is Malala. I listened to his speech, his interview he gave maybe a week or two ago, and in it I say, did he know how he just destroyed his own political life? That I wish you, if you haven't listened to that interview he gave the other day, it just portrays him as very dishonest. kind of politician that you don't need to elect in any position. For him, I have a reason to say no. When I say I don't want Matiang'i, I have my reasons. They may not convince anybody, but it is not hate. It goes to their record. I judge people on their record, but I will not say that I'm going to not like Kangata because he went to a fundraising, because he said, he just acknowledged that she's two-term and I am with Linda Mwananchi, because in that, I see every tribe. Isn't that what we want? That we judge people out of substance and not about tribal affiliation? And I think, anyway, I don't know whether I've explained myself, but I just ask that we open our minds a little more and we judge people from their track record. Look at their work history. Look at their track record and let us crucify them regarding what they have done on their track record, not on perceived records or what we perceive they were going there to do. They may have a very good relationship. Personally, I have a friend who went to school with somebody, one of the persons in the government, and they're supporting the government. I don't expect them not to support the government because that person was their best friend. Self-interest. They have an interest to support that side. If they want something, they have access. So why would they choose somebody like Gachagua and they don't have access? Well, they have direct access with somebody else. So people choose different people because of different reasons. It is for us, whatever side you are on, to convince. Even Sifuna is very mature. He's young, like they are saying, but very mature. Alisema, we will win them by convincing them. Let us convince them where we are and convince them to join us so that we can remove Kasongo. Thank you.
Okay, sawa. Okay. Before I get Eric, Budi, do you want to react to that? Because that was a 360.
Unfortunately, in building parties, that rhetoric does not work and it will never work. Unfortunately, you want to build a party and because parties we build our democracy through parties. We win elections through parties. And DCP as a party must guard its interests beyond friendship. Mere friendships. I have to go. My daughter is calling me. I'll come back.
You can pick the phone. Maybe Eric, you can go. Yani unaweza sema. Bwana Eric, are you there?
Yes, Jiro.
Yeah, can you react? Hata are you believing that Kangata ameenda kutupochia huyu mama Grandes Wanga? Alikuwa ameenda kumconvince akuje Linda Mwananchi atoke na huko kwa Mr. Ng'oo.
Kuna kitu Lima Queen husema, sijui in politics kama namsikizanga.
Yeah, there is no coincidence.
So politician hawezi meet wakosa kuongea politics. Like they just met. Lazima ulizane hapa, unaona kunaenda aje. Ukichoose huyu, tukieka hapa, unaona kukienda aje. Unaona? Kangata, he's very smart. Nakumbuka in before 2022 akihave debate na kina Murathe ni KTN. Akasema if Murathe they don't deliver votes to Baba, then na Baba ashinde, atakuja kuambiwa mlileta nini, how many votes, like your strength is the number of the votes. And right now nikiangalia Kangata naona ako in between, and that's why I said from the beginning, if he's not careful, Adam Kisema he has performed, I think he can lose. He can. Like the number, I gave you the example of the constituency, like how the governors always win in Murang'a. Mostly, if you check, most of them they come from Kiaro, and I'm seeing like the UD is going to bring their candidate, maybe probably from Kandara, and if Kandara was to unite and DCP is more like is popular party there. Maybe they can also get their numbers, and maybe Kangata can be number 1 or can be number 2. Yeah. So I said it's not going to be easy. I don't know how he's going to play his politics, but I think he's a good guy and he makes the right move. I don't know how he's going to be to handle Rigiji, because Rigiji, when he decided to paint you as a mole, ask Gadoni. That's why I said Gadoni or Moshomba. I think Gadoni was willing to work with the opposition, and suddenly she felt like too much pressure, and she went back to government. So I think even maybe Kangata might feel it, because if the UDA bring a candidate and DCP another one, and now him in the middle with the Linda Mwananchi, I don't see how he's going to win. It's like bringing more confusion. You see, like maybe you go with another party. It's like you go with another party, and all the MP and the MCA are supporting DCP, and now you are here with your another party. So I don't know how he's going to play his politics. Okay, back to you, Jira.
Interior Cabinet Secretary Fred Matiang'i today attended a worship service at Good News Seventh-day Adventist Church in Embu County, where he delivered a heartfelt address focused on faith, gratitude, humility, and service. The visit comes as Matiang'i continues engagement across different parts of the country, following his declaration that he is seeking the country's top leadership. Speaking before the congregation, Matiang'i began by expressing appreciation to the church leadership for welcoming him and the delegation that had accompanied him to the service. He thanked Pastor Iredi, the executive secretary, Pastor Kabeta, and the church leaders for giving him an opportunity to worship with the congregation, emphasizing that he was grateful to be among fellow believers. Throughout his speech, Matiang'i repeatedly emphasized the importance of relationships and the friendship he has built over the years through public service, education, and church life. He noted that many of the people he was recognizing were individuals whose paths had crossed with his during different stages of his career and whom he continues to value greatly. In one of the lighter moments of his speech, Matiang'i joked that he was considering opening what he described as a Baptist class within the Jubilee Party. He said that just as Christians have a responsibility to witness everywhere they go, he intends to continue sharing his faith even in political spaces. Referring to some of his political colleagues who had accompanied him, he humorously suggested that they could soon become members of his baptism class, despite belonging to different Christian denominations. Former Cabinet Secretary then became more reflective, thanking God for what he described as the many blessings he has experienced over recent months. He said that after expressing interest in leading the country and beginning to work closely with members of the Jubilee Party, he had been blessed with many new friendships. According to Matiang'i, one of the greatest gifts God had given him was surrounding him with people who willingly sacrificed their time to accompany him during engagements, including church services. He singled out several political leaders and supporters who had traveled with him to Embu, saying he sincerely appreciated their friendship and commitment.
But I'm soon, Engineer Wangai, I'm soon going to be running a baptismal class for Jubilee members. But I thank you. One thing I want to confess here before you and before the Lord, because we are in charge, is that I sincerely thank the Lord. Over the last few months, since I expressed interest in the leadership of the country, and I began working very closely with the members of Jubilee, the Lord has given me wonderful new brothers and sisters and people I walk around with. I sincerely love some of these people. I love them very dearly. And I really enjoy the fact that people make sacrifices, they wake up, they hear I'm going to church in Meru, and they come along with me to church. So I'm so grateful. Mheshimiwa Kimari, I'm so grateful, Mheshimiwa Amara, and all of you wonderful people, Engineer Wangai and the others, who have agreed to come with me to my church, even as I came to visit my friend and my brother and many of you who are members of this church. There are special people in this audience who are not mentioned, and people I have a very special history and relationship. I don't know where Rita is, whether she's here. Where is she? Rita. Yeah, Rita was a colleague of mine at the Ministry of Education, and she was a senior official at the TSC, and we worked together. She is now the chairperson of the Embu Professional Group. She's an official of the Embu Professional Group, and we work very, very closely. Roland is a principal of one of our major international institutions in the country, and he comes from here. And he has increasingly and recently become a very valuable friend of mine on many matters, including what goes on here in Embu, and introduced me to so many professionals from this part of our country, to which I'm very, very grateful, and I still undertake to continue working with you. There's a gentleman here, two people here whom I will just mention. One of them I'll talk a little bit about, but the other one I'll mention him because of the duties he did before. Mwanzo was one of my most valued security officials when I was Minister for Interior. He served as a county police commander in Nakuru. When I had challenges resolving issues of security and so on in the Rift Valley, I worked very closely with that gentleman. And he's an excellent police officer and a very accomplished professional in the way in which he works. And I'm so grateful that you found time to be here with us, and thank you for your service to our country. The other one is Mr. Magu Mutindeka. Mr. Magu Mutindeka was our regional commissioner in Nyanza. Regional commissioner is what we called long time ago PC, provincial commissioner. And I met him at work. The first time I met him, he was the county commissioner in Kilifi. When we were having a big problem in Kilifi, the teenage pregnancies were highest in that county in the country, and the dropout rate for girls was also very high. President Kenyatta gave us a responsibility at that time to sort out that problem, which was related to Disco Matanga. This is the gentleman who was heading our operation at that time as a county commissioner, very successfully, was very respected even by UNICEF for what he achieved during that time. And as a result, the president promoted him to become the regional commissioner for Nyanza. Magu comes from here in Embu. And you know the way God brings people in your life. God brought this wonderful man to my life through work. And we became very good friends. And we've been friends since. Him and another brother called beg your pardon? Moffat Kangi, the principal administrative secretary. Very good friends of mine who have served our country with distinction. And thank you again, Magu, for your service to our country. Thanks for coming along. Frederick Nyaga was the Secretary General of the Student Union at Kenyatta University when I reported in first year. We had issues those days, and he was the one leading the issues. I thank the Lord for the church. He was a fire-eating student leader during that time. But I admired him. I was much younger than him when I arrived in school, and I admired him as a very ferocious, fire-eating Secretary General of the Student Union. And I prayed that one day I'll be a student leader, so I started understanding him. That's where our friendship started. Then family and other things came along, and we remained friends. There are many people here I would say a lot about today. Pastor Eli, I want to thank you. Please convey our greetings to the president of our field here. And as a Seventh-day Adventist, I am grateful to worship and to serve with you, my fellow church members. And as I said when we were in Meru last time, when we stand here,
Hola, yo soy Cale Anders y tengo una nueva clase gratuita buenísima en la cual te voy a revelar los secretos.
100%. Vile anataka kutugawa ndio Moi alikuwa ametugawa. Moi alikuwa ameweka watu kila county ya kugawa watu ya mlima. Nakuru alikuwa na Kariuki Chotara, si ndio? Sasa hako na Susan Kihika, huyo ndio Chotara ya leo, si ndio? Si iko namna hiyo? Vale Kiambu alikuwa na Kuria Kanyingi. Kuria Kanyingi ya Kiambu leo ni nani? Si ni Kimani Ichung'wa? Huyo ndio Kimani, ndio Kuria Kanyingi. Pale Embu alikuwa na Kamuithi Munyi, ako na Ses Barire. Pale Meru alikuwa na Francis Kagwima, ako na Kithure Kindiki, si ndio? Alikuwa anapanga kila pahali, anaweka mtu ya kugawa watu. Alikuwa sasa pale Laikipia alikuwa na Gigi Kariuki, sasa ako na Mwangi Kejuri. The same script ya Moi. Na mimi Ruto nilimuona nilipoingia tu kwa ofisi, nikaona hii mtu ni Moi tu, lakini hii ni kali kuliko Moi kwa sababu ni kijana, tena ni mwizi. Najua Moi hakuwa na hiyo maneno ya wizi, na tena Moi hakuua watoto, aliwapatia mazi. Sasa hapo ndio Moi alikuwa tofauti na huyu mtu. Lakini hii mambo ingine ya kugawa sisi is the same. So sisi hatuwezi gawanyika. Hii mlima ni moja. And this time tutaweka kura yetu kikapu moja. Na mimi na Rais Uhuru Kenyatta tunafanya kazi pamoja. Na mimi na ndugu yangu mkubwa Uhuru Kenyatta ni kama chanda na pete. Na nikimaliza hii mazungumzo yote mkinipatia maoni, kabla sijasema chochote, nitaenda nikae chini na Rais Uhuru Kenyatta, so that we compare notes. Ndio pia Uhuru anishauri, si ndio? Sikuishi kwingi kuona mengi. Pia nataka Uhuru Kenyatta nimwambie vile watu wameniambia mlimani, niende niseme mkubwa wetu pia nimeambiwa namna hii, unaona aje? Kwa sababu ulikuwa umetuambia tukapotea. So this time mimi nimesikiza watu, pia nataka pia wewe kama kiongozi unishauri, si ndio? So hakuna mtu atakawanyisha sisi. Na ndio naona wanatukana Uhuru huko because wanajua mimi na Uhuru tuko kitu kimoja. Na wanajua mimi na Uhuru tukiwa kitu kimoja, hii mlima imeshikana kama simiti, si ndio? Ya mwisho niambie hawa wanajaribu kugawanya United Opposition, kujaribu kutupiganisha. Saa hii wamemulika Matiang'i, wanataka kumwangaisha. Ati ndio wamutishe ati aende kwa Kasongo. Iko maneno hapo inaitwa Ruaraka, kulikuwa na mambo ya mashamba ambaye koti imesema ililipwa kinyume na sheria. Na wale ambaye walilipa wanatakiwa ati washtakiwe. Sasa wanatisha Fred Matiang'i. Lakini Fred Matiang'i hakuhusika kulipa. Mtu analipa pesa ni principal secretary anaitwa accounting officer. Yule alilipa hiyo pesa ni mtu ya Ruto anaitwa Belio Kipsang. So wewe William Ruto, kama kuna mtu ya kupelekwa kotini, Belio Kipsang, mtu ya kwenu Nandi, ukamate yeye upeleke kotini. Huyu Belio Kipsang kuliko umfunge umempatia madaraka. Siku hizi kazi yake ni kuuza passports na vitambulisho kwa watu ya Sudan na watu ya Somalia. Kitambulisho anauza 15,000. Passport anauza 1 million. Huyu Belio Kipsang ndio mtu ambaye alilipa hiyo pesa ya Ruaraka. Fred Matiang'i alikuwa cabinet secretary. Cabinet secretary is in charge of policy. So mimi nataka kumwambia ndugu yangu Fred Matiang'i, usitishwe, na sisi tuko na wewe. Na sisi tutasimama na Fred Matiang'i. Na akigusa Fred Matiang'i, nita mobilize watu ya mlima kusimama na Fred Matiang'i. Na mimi nataka kuuliza watu ya kwao nyumbani hapo Kisii, wasikubali mtoto yao aangaishwe. We don't want you to intimidate Fred Matiang'i. Ati ya kwamba ati atishwe ati nini, wamtafutie makesi wamsumbue ati arudi kwa Kasongo. Nani mwambia Fred Matiang'i, in the unfortunate event utishwe, uende kwa Kasongo, utaenda peke yako. Watu watakuacha. But I know tumeongea na Matiang'i na amesimama kidete, hawezi tishwa. Si ndio? Mnataka tusimame na Matiang'i? So wewe William Ruto, mtu alilipa shamba ya Roraka ni Belio Kipsang. Saa hii pia ako na makosa ya kuuza vitambulisho. Ndio anauza passport, ndio anahatarisha national security ya Kenya. So please leave Fred Matiang'i alone. Atafute uongozi na tufanye kazi na yeye pamoja kwa united opposition. Si ndio? Unajua hata mimi wananitisha kila siku, lakini mimi najua ni mang'aa. Si unajua? So mimi ni chuma ya zamani. Mimi ni chuma ya zamani. Si hiyo maneno haisumbui mimi. Nafikiri tumesema ile ya mwisho pale Kenya Ports Authority. Iko sakata kubwa sana. Iko barabara moja hapo imepatiwa mama anaitwa Marian, ni jirani yangu hapo kwangu Karen. Kutoka nyumba yangu ni karibu nyumba 5. William Ruto anakujanga hapo kumuona. Na hata akiwa deputy president alikuwa anakuja hapo kwake. Yeye amepewa kujenga kilomita 1 ya rami 8 billion shillings pale Kenya Ports Authority. Wizi mtupu. Na mimi niseme nimwambie huyu, kwa sababu huyu mama tunajuana, hiyo pesa utarudisha next year. Hiyo pesa kama utakuwa umelipwa kilomita 1 ya rami 8 billion pale Kenya Ports Authority. Ni wizi mtupu. Na huyu William Ruto anasema hana ukabila. Hii contract yote anapatia watu ya jamii yake. That lady ni wa community yake. Ameolewa hapo na Mswahili, lakini mama mwenyewe ni ya community ya Ruto. Managing director ni community ya Ruto. Ruto mwenyewe wote ni jamii moja. Na anaanza kusema ati kuna wakabila. Mkabila si ni Ruto? 8 billion shillings. MD wa KPA anaitwa William Ruto. President William Ruto. Huyu mama ni mtu ya jamii yao. Wanaiba 8 billion. Mambo hii unasikia ya port ati kunajengwa refinery Lamu. Inatakiwa ijengwe kwa Lapset. Wana transfer 2,000 acres ya shamba from Lapset to Kenya Ports Authority, pahali William Ruto ako control through mtu ya jamii yake, huyu anaitwa Captain Ruto. Sisi tunapinga shamba ya Lapset kuwa transfer to Kenya Ports Authority. Kama iko project ifanywe within Lapset. Kwa nini mnataka kutransfer wewe Alice Wahome waziri? Mtoto yetu ya hapa Kandara na ameolewa hapa Ihororo. Why mnashikana na Ruto to transfer land from Lapset to Kenya Ports Authority where the MD ni mtu ya tribesman ya Ruto? Ndio hiyo shamba muibe pamoja. Kwa hivyo hiyo maneno tutaendelea kusema. Na ndio nasikia hii watu ya Ruto wakisema Rigiji ana incite watu. Mimi naongea tu ukweli. Ukweli is not incitement. Yeah. Na kama mimi nimeincite mtu, unishike unishtaki na incitement. Na mimi nitatoa ukweli. Niseme hii 1 kilometer imelipwa 8 billion, I have the papers. Kwa nini unataka kuchukua shamba kutoka Lapset upeleke Kenya Ports Authority? We'll continue to speak the truth. Na hakuna pahali watatupeleka. Hii Kenya ni yetu. Sisi tuko hapa. Si ndio? Haya, tualie si amushiru.
8 billion. Amesema 1 kilometer for 8 billion. That one will be an extreme price. When I used to see roads in Kenya, nilikuwa nikisikia kilomita moja ya rami, that is around 2014, tulikuanga tunafanya na we used to do with it around 12 million per kilometer. Class C, 12. Barabara but anyway, 8 billion inaweza fika kama ni wizi peke yake. Inaweza fika. Kama regime is all about stealing inaweza fika. Anakujanga kumuona hapo. That was a very telling statement. Kwake ni karibu nyumba kama ine. Mbona hata kwake ni kama nyumba kama ine. Kwake ni kama nyumba kama ine kutoka kwangu. Hata Ruto anakujanga kumuona. Code. Sio lazima muambiwe kila kitu. Sio lazima muambiwe kila kitu. That's a very telling statement. Guys, mi nimelemewa. Nitawacha show. Siko sawa. Wacha niende nipumzike nikuje kesho tafadhali. Let me go and rest. Bye. Please. Hello, I thought nasikia zangu B. Na assume no, he said 8 billion. That was extreme. Mutaniruhusu niende. Tuonaneni kesho. Kesho ni siku, please. Nimesikia kichwa imekuwa moto. I'm hot in the head. Please. Let me just sleep. Muniruhusu. Nitasoma tu kitabu yangu and I sleep. Thank you. Thank you for all those people who have participated today. I would not wish for another group other than you. Nimeshukuru, ni asante na ni kwa neema. I appreciate. We continue fighting. We hope that the opposition will win in united opposition. In Olkarau as well. Thank you till we meet tomorrow. Bye. I'm extremely tired, please. Good night, all of you. Acacia, Anne, George, Janet. Bye.